solo. I tune into my TV show. No better way, I gotta get myself into gear. Let's go. Oh, and I feel good today with my wake up in the morning espresso. I feel good today. It's my feel good breakfast show.
Ooh, yes, Mzansi, it's Monday. Good morning to you, you beautiful souls. Look who I get to work with this morning.
I get to be the emoji girl today.
A whole emoji. How you doing, sir?
Good. How are you, Ron?
I'm so good. So much energy from the weekend. We have to discuss so much. I mean, starting with sport, right? Whoa, did you catch the game?
I did last night. Well, luckily for us, the game wasn't too late. We tried really hard to stay awake for the opening of the World Cup on Friday night. We caught some moments of it, but I think I'm going to struggle with the 9 o'clock game.
I feel you, especially for all of those that wake up early in the morning. We feel you, especially last night's game, but I definitely know why you stayed up because, oh, of course, the Boks against Scotland. What an incredible match. We're going to be discussing that and a lot of the other sporting action that happened this weekend. We had the US Open with Coco Gauff coming through as a newcomer, winning the female #1 spot. What an incredible occasion.
I saw this video where when she was a little girl, she was dancing at the US Open, and now she's #1. How incredible is that?
Moments for sure.
Oh, well, listen, with only a few months left of the year, we also want, we tend to panic and we want to revisit those New Year's resolutions. So fear not, because today's show is all about how you can still achieve your goals before Christmas and how changing your mindset can make it all possible.
Did you just mention Christmas already?
I did.
Okay, the whole mood has changed. It's time to get hyped.
October, November, December. Well, you cannot
Can you believe it?
Christmas is here.
And it doesn't stop there, Mzansi. Of course, we're going to bring you entertainment on this Monday morning, get the energy up. And we've got the one and only PJ Powers alongside DJ Kosher. They're taking World in Union and have taken a new spin on the hit. So, oh, we cannot wait for this. Stick around for the magic and someone that cannot wait to serve you this morning, the one and only G-Man. What's happening, brother?
Where do we begin? So good to connect with you. Good morning to my beautiful Expresso fam, to you guys at home. And yes, we are reveling in all of the wonderful sporting action over the weekend. So many inspirational moments. If you needed to fill your cup back up, we did it this weekend, and hopefully the boys will continue on that trend. But right now, we are focusing on our own lives and our own personal journey. 2023 is coming to a close pretty soon. We want to know for you, and sorry, that made it sound like impending. You still got a couple of months, chill, it's all right. But we've got a list of things we want to achieve, and with the right kind of mindset, we can do it. So let's get it from you. We can jump onto this today. We can make the action happen, but we need a clear goal, a true north. So let us know via an inspirational voice note, 063-408-8863. What are you still going to conquer before the end of the year? It's not a line in the sand. It's not all hectic. It's not tense. We want to be happy and inspired by what lies in front of us, and there is so much lying in front of us over the next 3 hours. Yes, PJ Powers is going to connect us to the source of the chaos. We cannot wait for that. But right now, let's connect you to the rest of the world, get those news headlines in, and then I'll try my best to recap this insane sporting weekend.
You can just see how excited he is, of course, and so are the rest of us. And it's time to serve. Starting off with national headlines right now. And the Minister of Electricity, Dr. Kgoshientsho Ramokgopa, says SA has received offers from all over the world, and that's to finance the expansion and strengthening of the power grid. Now, the country has begun a just transition from its aging coal-fired power plants, which produce large amounts of carbon dioxide, to renewable energy, such as wind and solar power. Now, Ramokgopa said in Pretoria, that a transmission funding seminar is being planned later this month with the aim to bring together all players interested in funding the expansion of the power grid. Well, carrying on with the national headlines right now, meanwhile, a local humanitarian aid organization, Gift of the Givers, says its emergency teams are on standby, and that's to respond to Morocco following a deadly earthquake that has claimed some 2,100 lives so far. Now, Director Dr. Imtiaz Suleiman said search, rescue and medical teams are on standby to respond. Now, he added in a quote saying, "This is on condition that the head of states make an announcement requesting international assistance from the globe." And a 6.8 magnitude earthquake, which hit Morocco, took place on Friday night. Now, in international headlines, we dive straight into this topic right now, where rescuers are scrambling to find survivors under the rubble after a huge earthquake claimed some 2,100 lives. Now, the epicenter was in a remote mountainous region southwest of Marrakesh, where entire villages were flattened. Now, the Moroccan army has also cleared one of the main roads to the worst affected areas, allowing vital assistance to reach people. Now, in one village, 18 bodies were recovered in a single place. And there was also significant damage in the popular tourist city of Marrakesh, and tremors were felt in the capital of Rabat and in Casablanca. Well, carrying on with international headlines, Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov has praised a joint declaration by G20 leaders in Delhi that avoids condemning Moscow for its war against Ukraine. Now, Russia had not expected consensus and agreement on the wording, which was a step in the right direction. And this was said by Lavrov, and the closing G20 statement denounced using force for territorial gain, but made no mention of Russian aggression, prompting severe criticism from Ukraine. Now, the African Union was inducted as a new member. Now, lastly, in our headlines, the National Sea Rescue Institute, otherwise known as the NSRI, has 39 instructors in its drowning prevention team who raise awareness about the dangers of water regarding matters such as what to do if someone gets into trouble in water and how to perform bystander CPR. Now, Dr. Jill Fortain, who heads the NSRI's Drowning Prevention Department, said in August this year they achieved a record number of 120,000 lessons taught to children across all 9 provinces. Now, they're also well on their way to achieving their target of 750,000 this year. Now, she also added that they're gearing up their plans to hit their goal of a million children taught next year. Well, beautiful stuff indeed. I hope this carries on. For now, though, we're going to carry on with the headlines. And here's G-Man with the latest when it comes to all the crazy action that happened this weekend in sport.
Thank you so much, Raul. We will need a couple of hours to get through all of this, but let's give you a snapshot and start with the Springboks as they showcased their pre-tournament prowess once again with a commanding performance, launching their Rugby World Cup campaign with an 18-3 victory over Scotland. So this win significantly alleviated the qualification pressure in the challenging pool of death, looking quite wide open, in fact, and the renowned Scottish running game was effectively thwarted, and the Springboks seized control of the match with 2 tries early in that second half, the Bomb squad doing their job. Up next for our boys in the green and gold is a clash against a pretty unknown quotient in the form of Romania, and that's on the 17th. Now we turn to tennis and history being made once again in a remarkable Sunday showdown late last night. Novak Djokovic secured his 4th US Open title and in so doing equaled the historic record of 24 Grand Slam singles championships. He is the guy. He achieved this feat by sweeping aside Daniil Medvedev in straight sets, avenging his previous defeat at the hands of the Russian in the final 2 years ago. I'm sure he didn't forget. And at 36-year-old Djokovic became the oldest male champion in New York's Open era as well, matching the legendary Margaret Court's all-time Grand Slam victory record. And I have a feeling he's got a few more in him. Now, this achievement adds to his earlier successes at this year's Australian and French Opens, and his sole setback coming in a 5-set loss to Carlos Alcaraz in, of course, their previous encounter. So now we turn to cricket. Unfortunately, not the best moments for the Proteas as Australia surged to a 2-0 lead in the ODI series against the Proteas, securing a commanding 123-run victory at Bloemfontein's Mangwang Oval. So Marnus Labuschagne was once again named man of the match, scoring a remarkable 124 runs, while David Warner contributed a century as well, and then Travis Head added a fiery 64 that did add, now enabling Australia to reach a formidable total of 392 for 8. It was always going to be a bridge too far. Proteas showing some early promise in their chase thanks to Quinton de Kock and Temba Bavuma continuing his form, but ultimately faltered, finishing on 269 all out. So the series now continues in Potchefstroom tomorrow with both teams gearing up for the upcoming ICC Men's Cricket World Cup in India. That's a bit of a wake-up call for the Proteas. And then we turn to football finally, and a bit of a shock as Germany has made a stunning decision to remove head coach Hansi Flick just 9 months before hosting Euro 2024. So this unprecedented move follows a 4-1 loss to Japan, marking the first ever sacking of a Germany head coach since 1926. Now, Rudi Fuller, the sporting director, will take on an interim role with a permanent replacement to be named later, but the world is certainly watching. The decision is attributed to recent disappointing results, with the German FA aiming aiming to infuse optimism and confidence as they prepare for Euro 2024. Germany has struggled, suffering 4 losses in their 6 matches since their early World Cup exit in December. Now, the European tournament is set to kick off in Germany in June of 2024. Well, we're going to continue to chew on all of the sporting gristle this morning, so stick around for that, but lots more coming your way as well. Let's get you prepped for the weather. Sounds a bit crazy outside, crazy all over, in fact. Is it hot? Is it cold? Is it raining? Let's find out from Zoe.
Thank you, Raul. Well, let's start off with some news. Very cold, windy and wet conditions with a possibility of light snowfall over the mountains are expected in the Eastern Cape, the Northern Cape, as well as the interior of the Western Cape today. The SA Weather Service has subsequently issued several warnings. A yellow level 4 warning for damaging waves resulting in difficulty in navigation at sea. That's between Plettenberg Bay and Alexander Bay. And a yellow level 1 warning for parts between Plettenberg Bay and Port Edward and between Port Edward and Maputo. Damaging winds can also be expected along the KZN coast. Disruptive snow is expected over the mountains and high ground of the Eastern Cape, the southwestern parts of the Northern Cape, the northwestern parts of the Western Cape, as well as the extreme southwestern parts of KZN. And lastly, extreme high fire danger conditions are expected in the eastern parts of both the Free State and Northwest, the central parts of Mpumalanga, and in some areas in Limpopo. But let's take a look at your temperatures for today. Starting off in Polokwane, your low is 11, your high 35. If you're in Mbombela, 13 is your low, 35 your high. Pretoria, sunny and hot, 7 with a high of 32. Johannesburg, 3, reaching a high of 30. Mahikeng, 1, reaching a high of 25. Klerksdorp, 0 with a high of 25. Temperatures drop in Kimberley, -5 is your low, 15 your high. Bloemfontein, -6 with a high of 18 for today. Rainy conditions in Richards Bay, 11 with a high of 23. Pietermaritzburg, 5, 20, in fact your high is 19. Durban 11, 22, Mthatha 2 with a high of 14 and expect some rain. East London 7, 14, Cradock -3 with a high of 13. If you're in Gqeberha, 7's your low, 14 your high. George, cold and wet, a low of 5, a high of 13. Cape Town 4, reaching a high of 14 degrees Celsius today. Worcester -1, reaching a high of 10. Sutherland, brace yourself, -7, that's your low for today. 4 degrees Celsius, that's your high. And Uppington, a low of 0 with a high of 14 degrees. Well, those are your temperatures, some areas colder than others, but let's take a look at your sunrise views. Starting off in Eswatini, Nkobile showing off this picture. Look at the sun rising in the distance. And Nhlanhla from Alexandra sent through this photo. Looks like clear skies with a couple of clouds. Nolan in West Coast is enjoying a beautiful, blissful sunrise view. And Zanel Potgieter in Zodwana is taking a walk on the beach, and look at that cloud cover. Looks like a moody day ahead. Well, continue to share those sunrise views with us. Our number is 063 408 8863.
Thank you so much, Zoe. Now, of course, Mzansi, there's so much action that happened this weekend, and especially maybe even last night or while you were sleeping. Well, don't worry, we got you covered. We've got a lot of news to get through that might have happened while you were sleeping to update you on. And then on top of that, as you heard earlier on the show, there's a couple months till Christmas. Can you believe it? And this is that time where summer comes through and we're hoping for that summer body. So now's the time to work out. And we brought just the person to get us into the swing of things. So don't go anywhere, Mzansi. We'll start moving just after this.
Only you can make my day. feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back, you beauties. Thank you so much for joining us. I know we were going crazy over all of the sporting action this weekend, but a lot else has happened over the weekend, so maybe it's a chance for us to catch up on what's happened while you were sleeping.
Oh, yeah, and so much has been going down, especially when it comes to these headlines right now. Listen to this, right? There's a story about this that rings a bell, and I'm sure you'll be familiar with it. There's an online dating situation going on, right? So someone online has scammed somebody with a load of cash. Last week, the Hawks swooped on an online dating scammer for swindling a victim out of, listen to this, 750,000 Rand. Yes, that is real. Now, this is a 23-year-old woman who allegedly pocketed 750,000 Rand swindled from a victim of an online dating scam. Now, she appeared in the Bellville Specialized Commercial Crime Court together with the alleged kingpin. And the dating sites can be a wonderful place to many people, but this is the potential downside of it. I mean, imagine falling victim to something like this. And this has happened in the past. There's been a lot of dating scams involving romantic con artists. Tinder Swindler was one of them, of course.
Sure. I mean, Tabata.
Tabata, obviously, a local that we are very aware of. But I mean, online dating sites, there are many reasons to get involved in it, but there's also many reasons to stay away. I mean, romance scams, financially and emotionally getting involved in these fraudsters can really exploit people's vulnerabilities, their trusts, feelings, loneliness, you name it. It's just so sad that this is happening in this space where people are so vulnerable, just looking for love.
For love, but I don't think look at it from the perspective of you're in danger if you're on a dating website. Anything online right now, if there involves a social interaction, because this speaks to syndicates that are operating on various social media platforms. They know the guys because it's just you and another person sitting on a computer making a one-on-one connection. In the dating space, you're so much more vulnerable. You offer so much more information, photos, dates, times.
Catching your guard down all the time,
chances are they can very easily get your ID number, they can get your telephone number, they can phone you, they can send you an SMS to approve something. It's so easy, and I think that's the thing with a dating website. In terms of farming that information, there is a wealth there. So you've got to approach anything online. Not love, anything online with a little bit of trepidation.
Scary stuff.
It is terrifying stuff. So we are, I think, heartbroken for the people who've been duped in this space. And I've been taken in other scams like that. And you carry the weight of that for years. Afterwards, you feel like an idiot. But I didn't lose 750,000 Rand. Okay, I need to get your opinion on this as a young person who I think people hold up as a moral yardstick because you live this healthy life, you project this beautiful image, and you live it. You do live it every single day. It's part of you.
I hope to
okay, let's move on to smoking in public.
Oh.
Okay, so a very now viral picture has taken flight, and it centers in Los Angeles, where Sasha, the 22-year-old youngest daughter of one of our favorites, the former U.S. President Barack Obama, was spotted very openly taking some puffs from a lit cigarette, thought to be a cannabis joint. And she stood on the street with her pals in public while also wearing a dress that showed her belly. No, not her belly.
Oh, no.
And a very skimpy bikini top. Oh, man, what has the world come to? And the social media and Karen have gone mad. Karen is just losing her mind right now. She was trying to find the right angle. I think she looks awesome, and I think she looks free and 22 years old.
Like, this is reminding me of like a Woodstock era. Freedom, liberation, be yourself. You do you, boo, why
in
not?
no way made me want to run outside and smoke a joint or take my clothes off or do any of the things that I think they are so worried about.
What are we inciting here?
I know I'm playing devil's advocate here, so take this with a pinch of salt, but I don't know. I feel like the reaction has been far more extreme. It's been politicized.
Yeah, but you know what? This is a thing with, I think, many people in the spotlight. You often get judged a certain way, and being in the public eye, you're sometimes expected to act a certain way. And I think this is the fallacy that a lot of us fall into, creating this picture of perfection, when people like this, I think, are coming to light, coming to the surface, and reminding everybody that everybody is a human being.
Yeah, but
everybody's normal.
That's also someone else's perfection, and you've got to take it on board. The world doesn't fit into your box.
Yes, that is so
you've got to take that on board, but I think added pressure when you're an Obama, because you are kind of the true north to the whole world, and I think everyone is looking to you to guide us on all things wholesome and wonderful. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting, but that certainly grabbed our attention this morning. So be careful out there if you're going to be hitting any online dating sites, anything online. Be safe, and if you're going to be lounging around in public half naked, smoking things like that, just be careful of who's looking at you, man.
Oh, well, listen, we are about to do some fitness, and you know what is the best body to have in summer? Your body. Don't let anyone pressurize you, because we are just going to do a little bit of fitness because we want to boost those feel-good feelings that we all love and feel after a great workout. I'm not doing this workout alone. Kelly Smith, we are here, and we just want to get you as ready as possible as we get ready for the warmer season that's ahead. I love this, but we're going to take that pressure off of summer bodies are made in winter, because we're in spring. Some places in Cape Town or in the Western Cape and South Africa still feels like winter, but we are now just going to have a bit of fun and get moving.
Yes, we want to get that body moving because, as some people do know, I am extremely excited for Christmas, and it's 105 days to go.
Oh!
Not that I'm counting. Not that I'm counting.
Okay.
I'm like,
105 days to go.
It's like, no, nobody panic. It's me on Christmas. Nobody panic. I'm already like planning my Christmas decorations.
Okay, I'm with you on this. Okay.
But getting ready for summer, 105 days might sound like such little time to get ready, but honestly, it's not.
Okay.
It's so much time. You have so much to do, but otherwise, it's simple movements is what gets you. So we're going to focus on the simple movements today, and that's what we're going to show you. But we're going to start with a little warm-up before we get into our workout, because obviously it's cold today in Cape Town. So let's get that body moving. We're going to start by lunging forward, and you're going to twist over that thigh, bring it back, and step back. Your core is nice and strong. Change that leg. Step forward, twist over that thigh, and bring it back. So by simple movements when coming to losing weight, you don't want to really do extreme movements because you want to keep your heart rate nice and light. And the reason why is because we kind of burn fat at a lower heart rate. So if you're going above 130, for example, beats per minute, your heart goes into a more aerobic state, which is more of like a training your cardiovascular, getting fit kind of thing. So what we're going to do now is going to stand at the back. You're going to walk it all the way down, legs straight, walking down all on those hands. At the bottom, you're going to bring your one leg forward, drop those hips, little pulse at the bottom, stretching out those hips.
And getting a good stretch.
There we go. Wake up that body in the morning, push the hips all the way up, stretch out that back. Ooh, I felt a couple of clicks over there. Step that other leg forward, pulse that leg out there, and bring it all the way back. One more time each side, click it all the way up. Ooh. And drop it down.
Oh, this is how everyone should wake up.
Feel that body wake up nicely now this morning. And pulse it out. Now we're going to walk it all the way back up with those hands. And all the way down. Okay. We're going to start with the thing I call a little EMOM, which is every minute on the minute.
Okay.
Sounds a little bit intimidating, so we're going to do 3 exercises. Each are all for a whole minute, but we're only going to do 20 reps, 15 reps, 20 reps.
Okay.
So whatever time you have left on your minute is your recovery. So you can either rush it and get like as long as recovery as you can, or take your time and just go straight into the next one. So it's always up to the person doing it.
Okay.
So we've got 3 exercises. Our first one, I'm gonna put a little timer on over here.
Perfect.
Our first one, we're gonna do a little squat, and you're gonna cross your knee to the opposite elbow. I'm gonna start our timer. 3, 2, and 1. We are gonna do 20 reps of them in 1 minute. See how many we can do. The faster you go, the more rest you get. That's 1. Cross and cross. 2. As you're crossing, you're exhaling and crunching into your core, getting a nice full body movement all the way through. Ooh, I forgot that squat there.
It's okay.
All the way down. We're almost there. 13. All the way down. On your squat, you want to keep that chest up, glutes nice and low. The lower we go, the more glute activation. Give me 2 more. And last one. Have a breather. Just like that, 20 seconds of recovery. So catch your breath.
Look
have
at
a little
that.
breather. The next one's going to be a little bit more of a upbeat one. We're going to be down on the floor. You're going to go 4 mountain climbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 4 shoulder taps. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 1. We're going to hold it there. We have 5 more seconds to rest. You ready?
And then we're going to go
Catch
every
that breath.
minute
3,
on the minute.
2,
EMOM.
Yes, every minute on the minute. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Short taps. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 1. We're going for 15. Woo. You want to breathe through those movements. 2. Ooh, that's 3. There we go. Speed it up. We're going to miss this one.
Yeah.
Go. 1,
This is the
2,
TV version.
4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That fitness instructor in me coming out. Ooh, I'm a love of a high energy little person. So you always get these little bursts of energy with me. But the fun thing about fitness and movement is you make it fun, you know how your body moves, and that's what makes everything fun about it. You do what feels comfortable with your body. You don't need to do over-the-top extravagant things like jumping up and down, running there, running like left, right, and center. All I think of that is injuries. So I'm a person, I take my knees into consideration, take the hips into consideration.
Protect
Don't do the
the
over-exaggerating, jumping, moving around. That's 1 minute.
There we go.
We have one more.
Well, listen, we have got one more segment with
Yes.
you. Kelly is super excited and pumped up. I'm there with her at my pace. So stay tuned to your Feel Good Breakfast show. She's not going anywhere as we've got another round of fitness.
Oh, I'm excited.
I think I just put my thoughts in her head. I just like look after your knees, look after your back, look after everything. Now we got you covered, and we're going to delve into the Springboks' stellar performance against the Scots in the Rugby World Cup opener. Then profile young Kanan Moody. He didn't feature yesterday, but he is going to feature in this World Cup. Stick around.
Only you can make my day. It's my Feel Good Breakfast show.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us as we go a little bit crazy over rugby, and we should, because the World Cup is here. Now, staying in the loop is the closest thing to having first-hand experience, and with all things France as our focus, we do our best to keep up to date with the latest Rugby World Cup news every single day, and it's going to be crazy. For the next 8 weeks, just right off everything else. We are kicking off our first rugby recap with proud sponsors of the 2023 Rugby World Cup, Total Energies. After an exhilarating weekend, and we've got Nathan Gogela here to open a window into what is feeling like the most confusing Rugby World Cup we've ever been through. Nathan, thank you so much for joining us, my friend. So many points of departure to start this conversation. So I suppose we have to start, we won't start with the crazy opening ceremony, which I think confused a lot of us, very French. Let's start with a very French performance in that opening game against the All Blacks. 27-13, couldn't have gone better for a French team that I think most of us felt without Intermac there, we're like, okay, so everything is going to be on Dupont's shoulders. How are they going to do it? They looked just fine without him. In fact, they looked incredibly strong. What do you make of that opening encounter?
Yeah, obviously it was a good game. We saw how they started. We always knew that France, coming into the World Cup, they were going to be strong. New Zealand, so obviously New Zealand didn't start very well. Obviously they played against the Box, the last warm-up game, and obviously they got a big hiding.
And maybe you can help me put it into perspective. I expected the All Blacks. There was a moment in that drumming at the hands of the Springboks where it kind of looked like something had clicked. Then I saw another moment in this match again where it looked like something had clicked. We're talking about the All Blacks. We're talking about generations worth of the best rugby mindset and culture in the world. Everyone's talking about change of the guard. I still feel like the All Blacks could win this World Cup. Was that loss good or bad for the rest of the tournament?
I think obviously for them it sets them a standard where they are at the moment. I think moving forward it's going to be very critical. They win all the games. I mean, they still have Italy, they still have Namibia. So obviously they need to win all those games, the remaining games in the pool stages, in order for them to make it to a quarterfinal. Then obviously they'll play against South Africa or either Ireland as well in the quarterfinal.
So it doesn't get easier, but I kind of think they might like that. They might like that challenge. So we move on to obviously an Ireland side that we expected to demolish Romania, the #1 side in the world. Did they look like the #1 side in the world? Are they the tournament favourites after that performance?
I mean, it was a shaky start. I mean, I saw Romania score that opening try, but again, Ireland just showed just the pedigree and how good they are, obviously, and then they won comfortably at the end against Romania.
Yeah, and I think this Irish side, they are set. They've got the system in play, and it kind of feels like every player is on the same page. Lots of questions around England coming into this one. When you've got Argentina touted as favourites against you in your opening game of the Rugby World Cup, maybe it takes the pressure off. They lost a player early on, and we'll chat about that in just a moment. But they played better than I've seen them play in a very long time. Maybe a bit of adversity, maybe a bit of a kick in the teeth is what they needed. What do you make of that England side?
I think straight after the warm-up games, it gave them a reality check where they are at the moment.
Yes.
But again, we just saw how the adversity of the side, obviously the character, they were showing a bit of character against Argentina. So obviously for Argentina, they need to win they need to beat Japan. Argentina need to beat Japan and Samoa in order for them to make it through the quarterfinals. It's going to be very difficult for them.
And you kind of feel like, I mean, maybe Tonga have planted that in my head, but you kind of feel like any minnow in this World Cup could actually pull off something remarkable. Possibly not Romania, but the majority of them. The Argentinian side, a lot of pressure on their shoulders now, but I think they'll find that fire. Just with the sending off of Curry, is this something, I'm almost terrified for every movement in a match now, and we need to protect the players.
Yeah.
Because there's been a question around every single one of these red cards under review, or the yellow card under review to red. What did you make of that one? Because we saw similar tackles in following games that didn't go that way.
I think we need to consider player welfare first of all.
100%.
Obviously, it was head-on-head collision. Then obviously the next step is mitigating factors. It was high. Head-on-head collision is a yellow. It should have been a yellow, and then obviously sent through to send it through to the bunker. And obviously, head-on-head collision is an automatic red, unfortunately.
And I suppose you've just got to draw that maybe as a line in the sand, so we just can't cross that and get that, because after, as you point out, the player welfare is ultimately what we need to be looking after. The Springboks, frustrating start, slow start. I think a lot of us thinking, hang on a minute, this is not the side that we've seen in the last few weeks. They needed a bit of a test. We know we were going with the forward dominant kind of crash in the second half. But what did you make of the Springboks' performance against a very strong Scottish team? We made them look mundane.
Yeah, I think it was a slow start by the Boks. I mean, the set pieces, consider a few penalties in the scrum. Then obviously lineouts more didn't operate as normally we normally do. But again, the second half, we come on nicely with the subs of Oxenchair and Trevor Nyaka, and then we got forward movement in the scrums with the penalty scrum. So it was a better performance in the second half for the Boks, and obviously confidence booster moving forward in the Rugby World Cup.
Because we needed this one. We needed kind of to prove a point against Scotland, and it kind of felt like they gave us their best, and we dealt with that summarily. A couple of missed opportunities as well, so it could have been a different scoreline. One standout player that you got most excited about seeing him play?
I think Peter Steff is coming on nicely. We saw now in 2019 World Cup how he operated in 2019 World Cup, and then eventually was player of the year in that year as well. So maybe this year again it could be player of the year. So it's something exciting. Manu Lebok, a bit shaky, but again, player of the year. Player of the match, sorry.
Yeah, 100%. So, and we've seen what he can do in the URC against these sorts of players. Buddy, we love you. We're going to keep all of your details up. If people want to continue the conversation and go deep, I have a feeling you can take us layers below. But such a pleasure having you here, my friend. We are feeling the gears off to the perfect start. Now, not only are we giving you the chance to stay connected, but you can be a part of the Total Energies Club. Simply join us on star 120 star 2683 hash, or you can drop by the website totalenergies.co.za and get some incredible rewards as well. Good luck.
Just like in rugby, it's uniting our energies that helps us move forward.
Now, from chatting to the game, of course, and seeing how hyped this man is, it's time to dive deeper in and let's discuss some of the players that are making things tick and getting us absolutely excited for the World Cup. Now, today we're going to be taking a look at the faces behind the box, of course, and getting to know the young, prolific speedster, Kane Moody from the Blue Bulls in Tshwane. Yeah, the
Well,
guy
he's also a Springbok, okay?
He is
You don't have
as
to
well.
start with the Bulls connection. Now, we love you, Bulls, because you bring us some of the most exciting talent in the world. Now, I think everyone's been kind of secretly stalking Kane online because videos have emerged of him, what he was doing during lockdown and how much he's played. But this kid was like genetically engineered for football. I have a
from
feeling.
birth almost, man. Now listen, this early life and education with Kane Moody was like this. He was born and raised in Paarl, Western Cape, South Africa. He had attended Paarl Boys Primary School before moving to Boerland Agricultural High School. And this is where he focused on his rugby development.
And then, of course, he found success very early on in rugby and other areas of his life. But on the rugby field, during his school years, Moody played rugby as a centre. So he's comfortable there and secured a high school championship victory. He represented Western Province's youth teams in 2019 and 2020. And you must look at the names on those 2 years, the rosters. He is under very, very, very good company in that space. But I think that's when, obviously, people started to see him put his
Yeah, and that was pretty much the start because from there he transitioned to professional rugby. Now, after completing high school, Moody joined the Blue Bulls Academy in Pretoria. Now, in 2021, he participated in the SA Provincial Under-20 Championships. Remember, he's still a teenager at this point,
Yeah,
right?
man, he was a kid, man. And then his exceptional performance in 2021, and there were many, obviously led to his selection for the South African Under-20 team in the International Series. Notably, he scored 2 doubles, 2 braces against Uruguay
bangers.
and Argentina during that series. He's just got that. It feels like a supreme confidence in every area of the game.
Yeah, like if you talk about well-rounded, this picture of this man's going to come up and for many years to come. I mean, considering the fact that he's still a teenager right now, I cannot even imagine what he's going to do with his future because he's already looking so well-positioned, so comfortable, so grounded, but yet there's this new electric vibe coming from him that I don't think opponents are ready for.
And the squad at the moment has been engineered to a point that they can let these X-Factor players express themselves. You know what it's starting to feel like, dude? A bit of that Sevens flavour has crept in.
Oh,
where
yeah,
the structures
100%.
are so solid that the individual stars have the time to shine. If you look at how individual players during the performance yesterday, for instance, like the Peter Steph toys that we were talking about, people want to run, they want to play an exciting brand of rugby, and he's born out of that generation. I love it. Kane Moody might be one of the biggest stars of this Rugby World Cup if we can give him the space to run
happen,
and be
man. This
free,
is a
man.
new era of rugby for South Africa, and this man is at the helm right now. So, Mzansi, let us know what else you'd love to find out about when it comes to our incredible Springboks. We're going to be diving to all of the champions as we progress through this World Cup and hopefully all the way to the final and beyond.
Oh, thank you, gentlemen. Well, listen, we're taking a quick break on your Feel Good Breakfast show. The sporting action continues. First up, we'll take a look at the US Open winners, as well as another round of fitness. Kelly Smith's not going anywhere, so stay tuned to your Feel Good Breakfast show.
Crouch, touch, but don't you dare pause. Because when you buy any of our favorite Clover products, keep the till slip handy and catch the Expresso Breakfast Show every weekday morning for more details on how to enter. While the Boks are battling for rugby's greatest prize, you can win your share of 80,000 rands worth of Weber Prize. So engage and win with rugby's greatest moments, brought to you with love by Clover.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back, as yes, we continue to talk sport. You're going to have to forgive me this morning, but it's been a crazy weekend. And of course, lest we forget, just a small matter of a Grand Slam playing out in history being made. The final tennis Grand Slam of the year went down at Flushing Meadows this weekend in both men's and women's finals. It was not the defending champions tasting glory, but fortune does favor the brave. And we saw some bravery from our US Open champions. He had a chat about the US Open finals. It's A1 Paddle Tournament Director Luke Potter, and he can play a little. UCT ladies tennis player Hannah Levy, she can play a lot. Guys, so good to have you here. What a crazy weekend of sport on all fronts. The tennis delivered. A bit frustrating that it was happening in like the opposite time zone to us, but I can see by your eyes you guys were glued, and we are here for that. Let's talk about Coco Gauff. First major opportunity to win something like this, and she smashed it out the park. You could see what it meant to her, but try and, Hannah, put that into perspective. What do you think it meant to her?
I think from coming from losing first round Wimbledon, going and winning a 500 title, then a 1,000 title, the haters were hating, and she came and proved everyone wrong. It's a huge achievement.
And it wasn't like she just was given it. She had to beat essentially now the best in the world. I think she's gone back up to number one.
Yeah.
She had to earn that right. She had to hold her nerve. She got tested. This is what champions are made of, Luke.
Listen, she got tested. I mean, she got completely smashed in the first set. Hit off the court is the word I choose to use. She kept the composure. She came back, and I think this theory of making one more ball crept in. She ran herself into a coma at some stages, and she literally fought her way through to a victory. She had the entire crowd behind her, a whole nation. Absolutely insane.
I'm a little bit sad that we didn't have an All-American final, because I was loving the US connection. I was loving the sold-out stands. I was loving just that vibe, that gees that they borrowed from us for just a moment. That next ball, that next step. There is a lesson to be learned there for all young tennis players. And we were joking off air about the margins being so small when you're at that level. Is the mental click the last element? And it'll come to bear in the men's game. But for Coco, this mental strength, and she's taken time off in the past, she's focused on that mental health. Do you think that is the difference in the player, or is it just her time?
No, I think your mental game is everything. And time, obviously, she's 19. You know, time is not on her side. She has not got the experience that all these older players have got. And I think that just goes to show that her mental game is something else.
And she's probably got a team of people, and I would imagine big sports are spending money on teams of people now around their players. No Carlos Alcaraz. Before we get on to the GOAT, and I'm going to call him the GOAT now, and anyone can come forward and argue with me as much as you want, but I'm going to call Novak Djokovic the GOAT. And I see no arguments coming here for now, at least maybe off air. What happened to Carlos Alcaraz?
His form got broken down. Medvedev just targeted the form, literally found a kink. No one knew was there. I think when we spoke in the week, everyone was focused on this massive final. You've always got to get through the next first hurdle, and that just literally never happened. Medvedev, silent assassin, went through the motions and got it done in the end. And I mean, it was an incredible match if you watched it. I mean, he really just out-hit him.
Yeah, the nuances of that. And you're talking about a player who's been through those 5-set monster semi-finals. He's tasted that. He knows what that's like. And often the semis give us those challenges. The final is often a little bit emotionally loaded. You don't quite get both players being on form to that degree. In this final, I think Djokovic would have gone into that knowing that he had Medvedev's number. He's done it before on countless times. He must have felt, yes, this was his opportunity. But do you think a player at that level, because you must have put yourself in his mindset many times thinking what makes him so good in all departments, do you think a moment like that weighs on his mind? Do you think Novak Djokovic thinks about the records, thinks about the young players coming up, thinks about all those things that we love talking about so much? Or is he like zen-like and focused on the game? Because he's a human, after all.
Yeah. I think it's always a pressure. Like, knowing all these young players are coming up, it's always playing on his mind. I think, yeah, it's...
He just seems to handle it so well. And he's become one of the most liked people. Okay, maybe not last week on those courts in America, but in terms of the position he plays in world sport right now, he's a different beast.
Let's chat numbers.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, I like the numbers.
Break it down for us, Luke.
36 Grand Slam finals. Okay. kids want to try and get into one.
Yeah.
He's played 36. All right, let's just start there. Out of those 36 is 124. All right, that is mind-blowing. So, I mean, the best thing that I can say to those people that, you know, maybe don't like him is love him or hate him. He's come up in an era where there's been a Nadal, there's been a Federer, there's been all these youngsters coming up. I think the best way to define this is in the sort of semi-finals when he went, you can forget about it, we're done here, he's the GOAT.
Cheers. He is, yeah.
He literally is.
And for him, maybe, hopefully, he believes that. And that's all that really matters in a player's journey is what you believe about your own skill set and what you're meant to achieve. This has brought, I would imagine, generations on board when it comes to tennis. Just when we thought football was going to steal all of the young American fans, I have a feeling tennis might have got a few more. Hannah, thank you so much for being here so bright and early when you could have been sleeping or out playing tennis. Luke, thank you, my brother. This has been the most amazing tennis journey. Novak Djokovic, he is the GOAT. We're going to say it there. And Coco Gauff, I think she has made a very strong case to being a future GOAT in her own making. Absolutely brilliant performance in the year's final Grand Slam. 2 champions have been crowned.
Now, I wish I was a champion at what we're about to do, but I'm not, but that's part of the journey. We are about to get into round 2 of getting ready for summer. We have Kelly Smith with us, and we are so excited to get back into a little bit of fitness.
We're ready to move the body. So
yes, we are.
We're going to do something that's a little bit more slower this time, but still a lot of fun. It's a little bit something called Tabata. So Tabata is you do a couple of seconds on, couple of seconds of recovery, but very simple, plain, easy movements. So we're going to
actually have the Tabata timer on my phone, so I know what you're talking about.
Exactly what we're talking about.
I didn't know it was a thing. I just thought that's what the app was called.
No, it's an actual thing. It's a thing. There's always different times. People do 40-20, 25-10. That's all kind of fun. So we're going to do a little bit of a 40-20 today, which is going to be a lot of fun. And then also, while we're doing this, I'm going to kind of start with a little squat, and then you're going to alternate your back lunges. So one left, then squat, and then one right. Squat again, and then left. So the fun thing about these things is these are all simple movements, compound movements. You're using your whole body. Your core is being used. Your legs is being used. And for the ladies, our glutes are being used. We all want that little summer little booty.
We want the peach. We want the peach emoji.
We really want that little peach emoji, exactly. Yes. So the fun thing about that is with exercises, another trick to getting nice and summer ready is you want to eat your calories at a nice calorie deficiency or a little defect. So what you want to do is eat less than what you are actually burning. And that's like, I know it sounds like a lot, but really all you got to do is go for a daily walk, and that's already giving you more calories to play with throughout your day. Next one, we're going to start onto the floor.
So you want to stay in that calorie deficit?
Yes, you want to stay there, and that's what keeps your body like burning at its optimal time. So if you're burning more than what you're actually eating. So what we're going to do, like on your back, what you're going to do is you're going to squeeze through the hips, squeeze those glutes all the way up, and drop it down. Squeezing through the little glute hip thrust, squeeze into the glutes, and down. Your shoulders are on the floor. Squeeze and back down. Now you want to advance this. Add a weight. You can add little pulses. You can add a little glute, add a little one leg. There's lots of different alternatives that you can do to make it even more difficult. And sitting up. And the fun thing about it is the simpler the movement, the easier it's going to be for you, less injury. So keep it simple, keep it easy, keep it slow and steady. Steady heart rate keeps at a nice fat burning pace, which gets you ready for summer in time. If you're doing these high energy things, you're going to hurt yourself. It's going to put you off training, and then you're just going to sit there in summer regretting everything.
I love how you say it's going to put you off training, because I think that's the thing that stops a lot of people from getting into it. You get caught up on the Instagram videos, and everything's high intensity. You have to be at a certain fitness level, and it's quite intimidating.
Drop down to the elbows. The core is a dynamic plank, and this is my favorite for the core. You're going to hold that plank, twisting your hand up towards the ceiling, looking up towards it, and drop it down. So your core is working. You're getting into the side of those obliques, into the waist, and you're using those glutes as well to keep that body up. Simple movements, using more than one muscle group is what's going to really help you get that body in shape in time for summer. It's all that you need, and it's nice and plain, simple, not over the top, and easily can be done at home or in the gym, wherever you are.
Oh, I love that. We are staying, making sure that there are no excuses. I think that's the perfect thing. And I mean, I'm guilty of it. I'm the first one to make up an excuse.
No, it's no excuses.
Oh, it's cold. I want to stay and sleep in. But you know what?
You can sit at home. Keep the heater on there.
Keep the heater on.
I keep the slippers on even to keep me feel even more motivated. I keep the slippers on, the go-to training shoes.
Oh, Kelly, you are amazing.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Where can people get in touch with you if they are interested in having their own personal trainer?
Oh, I am on Instagram at Kel's Fit Life, and you can find me on Facebook under Kel's Fit Life or Kelly Smith.
Oh, Listen, Kelly Smith showing us how to get ready and excited for summer.
Yeah, Kelly Smith making me feel shredded already. I didn't even participate in that one. I love it, ladies. Thank you so much for coming through. And Mzansi, don't go anywhere. Why? We're going to be chatting about so much. Nasty C flying the SA flag high, and the one and only PJ Powers in the building. Oh, yeah, she's going to be performing. So that means you better sit tight. We'll see you soon.
Only you can make my day.
South Africans know tough. It's built into our DNA. We know how to outweather and outlast the harshest conditions. When the cracks start to show, we go the extra mile. Our strength is legendary. Our resilience, iconic. And despite the odds, we know what gets the job done. Mycotex, strong enough to endure anything.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Oh, yes, Mzansi, welcome to it. Your Monday is feeling so fresh. And like we do on a Monday, we're always serving you. So it's time to dive into the world of entertainment news and catch up on our favorite celebs and what's been happening on the weekend. We talked about sport. We talked about fitness. What's happening with our superstars?
Entertainment, yeah, this is just to prove that we do care about things other than just sport, okay? But we do care about our stars, especially when they're going through the most. And we all know Kourtney Kardashian Barker has been expecting her child, and with her rock star husband, obviously Travis Barker, after her very cute pregnancy was announced at one of his concerts. But they've been very vocal, and they're just so cool. They're edgy and just really, really cool as people. But she recently revealed that she had an urgent fetal surgery, which just the sound of that terrifies me. Anyone who's been through a pregnancy, anything that rocks the boat in the littlest ways is terrifying. Having to go into surgery on a different level. But she has spoken out, and she has said that her and especially baby are okay. They're both doing okay. She took to social media to share a beautiful black and white picture, photograph of her husband. You can always see it's him by the tats, but offering some comfort. And as she lays in a hospital bed, and she's thanking God, the doctors, for saving her baby's life, and saying how grateful she is about everything, and obviously having her husband by her side, literally and figuratively holding her hand. But fetal surgery is no joke. To put it in the picture, there are certain tests that you can do that involved quite invasive processes. We were too terrified to even go there to do tests because you are so worried about protecting that pregnancy. So to have surgery done, so we are grateful on their behalf and for
well done to the docs that worked on that one too. I can imagine the pressure. But let's carry on. Let's bring this one back home. Something we can definitely definitely be proud of. Yeah, rapper Nasty C has joined the NBA 2K24 soundtrack, solidifying his status as one of the country's top talents. Now, this is huge, right? NBA 2K24 builds on the NBA 2K franchise with enhanced features and gameplay, delivering animations and movements pulled from real-world action on the court, and it gives this groundbreaking jump into what only many can call authenticity. But, of course, our very own Nasty C is among the selected group of musicians whose songs will serve as the oral setting for the virtual basketball experience that millions of people across the world eagerly await each year. This is incredible stuff, because if you think about the impact of these soundtracks, people listen to this beyond the game, right?
Oh, for about 7 hours a day, some people. Not saying I play.
I remember like all the FIFA soundtracks. I remember them off by heart. We jammed to it, we jawed to it. It's like globally you're getting recognized.
Jack and I play them in the car.
Do you? I feel you, man. It's nothing to be embarrassed about. But obviously this is something special. It's the hip-hop's 50th anniversary. And obviously the NBA also sharing these insights and this news on social media. And apart from the fact that they are sharing this, they're also sharing the fact that they're working with Nasty C. So the big guns chatting to the big guns, establishing big guns.
Def Jam, Nasty C, and PlayStation, it's on a different level, but I think they also realize there are a lot of African players online. It's a global village, everyone is connected, so it's an opportunity for them to track the algorithms coming from our part of the continent. So glad he is there.
Absolutely.
Now, perhaps one of your favorite players to play with in the NBA is a certain Steph Curry, because he's one of the best players for the Golden State Warriors, and he's an absolute legend in the game. And he recently took to the court with his son, Cannon. Absolutely beautiful moment. I think there were a lot of fathers' skills clearly being transferred to the son. But it's just such a beautiful moment. And obviously he's going through the fundamentals, and it's amazing when you start to see how that information is transferred. You think Steph Curry's all about practicing the nuances, those ridiculous shots, the timer, but it's the fundamentals.
Basics,
And these guys start playing at such a young age. And we highlighted Coco Gauff's success now, and that she's so young playing against these very grown-up players like that.
Veterans,
It's the play starts early, but it's an unfair advantage if Steph Curry is your dad, okay?
VIP coach.
Yeah, exactly. And you're getting lessons. You're learning the absolute basics of the game from one of the GOATs. But what a beautiful moment there. I think because of all the hype around him, to see such a normal, beautiful moment play out between father and son, I think that's what's made this viral.
Women officially around the world are brooding.
Yeah, 100%, man. Just lower your expectations just a little bit if you're wanting Steph Curry and the whole deal. But we love it. We are here to see the stars that we love to look at shining. And we are so glad that Courtney and Little Baba are through the fire with that one.
Nice job.
It's time for us to catch up with your morning headlines, starting off with national news. The KwaZulu-Natal provincial government has announced that the funeral service of traditional Prime Minister of the Zulu Nation, Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi, will be held on Friday. Buthelezi passed away at the age of 95 at his homestead near Ulundi in the early hours of Saturday morning. The Buthelezi family thanks South Africans for all walks of life for the outpouring of messages of condolences as they mourn the sad passing of the head of their family. Staying with our local news, the Minister of Electricity, Dr. Gontsintso Ramakopa, says SA has received offers from all over the world to finance the expansion of strengthening the power grid. The country has begun a just transition from its aging coal-fired power plants, which produce large amounts of carbon dioxide, to renewable energy, such as wind and solar power. Ramakopa said in Pretoria that a transmission funding seminar is being planned later this month with the aim to bring together all players interested in funding the expansion of the power grid. Moving to news abroad, Hong Kong was flooded by the heaviest rainfall in nearly 140 years on Friday, leaving the city's streets and subway stations underwater and forcing schools to close. Just across the border, authorities in China's tech hub, Shenzhen, has recorded the heaviest rain since records there began in 1952. Meanwhile, in Greece, Storm Daniel, which meteorologists said was the worst to hit the country since records began in 1930, pummeled the country for 3 days after a record summer heat wave that had touched off huge wildfires. And rescuers are scrambling to find survivors under the rubble after a huge earthquake claimed some 2,100 lives. The epicenter was in a remote mountainous region southwest of Marrakesh, where entire villages were flattened. The Moroccan army has cleared one of the main roads to the worst affected areas, allowing vital assistance to reach people. In one village, 18 bodies were recovered in a single place. There was also significant damage in the popular tourist city of Marrakesh, and tremors were felt in the capital Rabat and in Casablanca. And the identity of a mystery thief responsible for eating more than 72,000 rands worth of plants from an Australian nursery was revealed when the culprit stuffed himself too much and just couldn't flee. The thief, a koala, had overeaten. A nursery spokesperson said the koala, dubbed Claude, had a really big feed and was too tired to go back to his tree. The World Wildlife Foundation's comment was that the uncommon behavior shows food sources are scarce, as koalas are not regular guests at nurseries. On that very interesting note, that's where I leave your morning headlines. Let's take another look at your sport.
Let's start with the animals down south, shall we? The Springboks showcased their pre-tournament prowess with a commanding performance, albeit a bit of a slow start, launching their Rugby World Cup campaign with an 18-3 victory over the Scots. So this win significantly alleviated the qualification pressure in what is definitely a challenging pool of death. The renowned Scottish running game was effectively thwarted, and the Springboks seized control of the match with 2 tries early in that second half. Really did ramp it up when the bomb squad came on. So up next for our boys in the green and gold, hopefully in green and gold, is a clash against Romania on September the 17th. And then we turn to tennis now, and in a remarkable Sunday showdown, Novak Djokovic secured his 4th US Open title and now equaled the historic record of 24 Grand Slam singles championships. We're going to call him the GOAT for now. He achieved this feat by sweeping aside his old foe Daniil Medvedev in straight sets, avenging his previous defeat to the Russian in the final 2 years ago. And at 36 years old, Djokovic became the oldest male champion in New York's Open era, matching now the legendary Margaret Court's all-time Grand Slam victory record. And I have a feeling he's got a few more still to come, and this achievement adds to his earlier successes at this year's Australian and French Opens. Of course, his sole setback coming in a 5-set loss to Carlos Alcaraz, who went out in the semis. And now we turn to cricket, and yes, the Australians have certainly got our number. They surged to a 2-0 lead in the ODI series against the Proteas, securing a commanding 123-run victory in Bloemfontein. Man of the moment once again, Marnus Labuschagne was named player of the match, scoring a remarkable 124. To think that he was a bit of a dubious selection at one point, incredible, while David Warner also contributed as he does with a century, and then Travis Head added a fiery 64. Enabling Australia to reach a formidable total of 392 for 8. It was always going to be a bridge too far, I think, and the Proteas did show some early promise in their chase, thanks to Quinton de Kock and Temba Bavuma continuing his form from the first game, but they ultimately faltered, finishing on 269 all outs. So now, Potchefstroom, you're going to have to put your hand up. They move there for the next one. Both teams gearing up for the upcoming ICC Men's Cricket World Cup in India. Clearly, the Proteas needing to do some fine-tuning. Now, speaking of fine-tuning, well, they've gone to the nth degree as we turn to football, and Germany has made a stunning decision to remove coach Hansi Flick just 9 months before hosting the big one, Euro 2024. So this unprecedented move from their footballing history follows a 4-1 loss to Japan, marking the first ever sacking of a Germany head coach since 1926. Now, Rudy Fuller, the sporting director, will take on the interim role with a permanent replacement to be named later. And the decision is attributed to recent disappointing results, obviously, with the German FA aiming to infuse optimism and confidence as they prepare for Euro 2024. Germany has struggled, undoubtedly losing 4 losses, or netting 4 losses in 6 matches since their early World Cup exit in December. One thinks that maybe that would have been the time to change the reins, but this is where they sit in the European tournament, is set to kick off in Germany in June of 2024. So not a huge amount of time to fine-tune once again. But that's where we leave our sport for now. The roads should be waking up. Let's get you to work safely.
Thank you so much, G-Man. Yes, a lot of us heading on the roads this morning. Let's find out what's happening in traffic. And if you're on the Tongaat KZN area, there is protesting on the R102 route. Now, this is north of Tongaat. So if you're on the area, please avoid it and do travel safely. Sticking to KZN right now and going to Izingolweni, there's also protesting on the N2 route at Izingolweni. Now, the road has been blocked at Port Shepstone and Harding. So again, please use an alternative route if you are in the area. Now from KZN, we move over to the Western Cape and Kraaifontein in Cape Town to be specific. There's been an accident on the N1 inbound at Okavango. Now the right lane is closed, so you can expect delays. And again, for anybody heading out on the roads this morning, buckle up, stay safe and plan accordingly. From the roads now, we head to the sky and see what's happening in the latest when it comes to weather. Diving into weather news first up, and the Northwest Umbrella Fire Protection Association is calling for the declaration of a provincial state of disaster, and that after raging wildfires have claimed 4 lives and ravaged hundreds of thousands of hectares of land across the province. Now, farmers are counting their losses as the wildfires destroyed vital grazing land and large numbers of livestock and game perished. Now, the Director for Sustainable Resource Management in the Department of Agriculture, Wally Mutle, says they have contacted their national counterpart as well as the provincial disaster management authorities, saying they will need at least 132 million rand to assist the farmers. Well, from our weather news, let's dive into those temperatures once again. Now, if you're on the Polokwane area, 11 is your low up to a high of 35 degrees. Sunny skies expected. Umbumbela, very hot conditions from 13 up to 35. Pretoria, very similar with the sun coming through from 7 up to a max of 32 degrees. And Johannesburg, much the same, from a chilly 3 to a nice warm 30 degrees Celsius. Carrying on around the country now to Mahikeng, where it starts at a chilly 1 degree up to a moderate 25. Klerksdorp also starting at a 0 degrees, but up to a nice warm moderate 25 degrees. Kimberley coming from -5, only up to a moderate 15. And Bloemfontein -6 degrees to start the day, up to a max of 18 degrees Celsius. It looks like as we move to the coast, though, wet conditions persist. And in Richards Bay, it's much the same, 11 up to 23 with rain coming through. Pietermaritzburg, much the same, 5 up to 19 degrees with the rain continuing. Durban, much the same for the wet conditions from 11. You move up to 22 degrees. And Mthatha, 2 is your low, up to a high of 14 degrees Celsius. And of course, lots of rain coming through. And it looks like the rain continues around the coastline over to East London, where the day starts at 7 up to only a max of 14. Craddock, very chilly conditions from -3. You only move up to 13 degrees with some rainfall coming through. GQ Gqeberha sees the day starting at 7 up to 14 with the rain continuing, and much the same for George, from 5 up to a maximum of only 13 degrees Celsius. Over in the mother city, it looks like the wet conditions continue from 4 degrees up to only a maximum of 14. Worcester -1 to start the day up to a max of 10. Sutherland -7 up to only 4 degrees. And Uppington 0 up to a maximum of 14 degrees Celsius. Well, we've seen those temperatures, but let's see what it looks like firsthand in your neck of the woods. And starting us off for this 7 o'clock edition, we've got Derek out in North Beach showing off his views from his balcony. Wow, absolutely outstanding stuff. I love it. Andrew's up next in Beliko, capturing white clouds in the blue sky. I love this one as the sun is just about to peek through the horizon. And then we've got Jody Ann in Robertson, enjoying a rather earlier start to her day. And of course, joined with some coffee. Definitely ready for it. And then Wilner is in Scottborough, feeling incredibly blessed. And you can see why, sitting watching these beautiful sunrise views. Wilner and the rest of the gang, thank you so much for sending these incredible pictures in. We'll do it all again in an hour. And you can use the number 063-408-8860 because we'd love to see how you start the day. And speaking of the day, what else can we expect, Zoe?
Well, Raul, coming up on your Feel Good Breakfast show, if you've been wondering how to enhance your own personal well-being, well, you've tuned into the right show. We'll be touching on that. And then, ladies and gentlemen, I can't think of a better way to start this brand new week off. We have the one and only PJ Powers in studio, and she is ready to sing this week for us into the best possible note. Well, that and a whole lot more still on its way, so stay tuned.
Crouch, touch, but don't you dare pause. Because when you buy any of our favorite Clover products, keep the till slip handy and catch the Expresso breakfast show every weekday morning for more details on how to enter. While the Boks are battling for rugby's greatest prize, you can win your share of 80,000 rands worth of Weber Prize. So engage, and win with rugby's greatest moments, brought to you with love by Clover.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. Let's slow things down just a little bit right now and look to our own well-being and the tools that are available for us to use. If you think about it, data is the ultimate enabler in our lives. We've seen what giving kids in South Africa data has done. It's changed the game. It's the bridge into any world we wish to endeavor, whether it's listening to music, streaming content, job hunting, learning for your new job, banking, learning about connecting with others, or just making those connections with the people we love the most. Data is behind it all, and that's why we are so excited that Vodacom have launched their brand new Enhance feature, and it's going to take us a while to fully wrap our heads around it, so we want to dive deep. It allows you to personalize your new or existing contracts so that you can have extra access to the things that matter most to you. Let that sink in just a little bit. So we've gathered the troops around the table, figuratively, to unpack how we've used data to enhance our lives, especially our personal well-being. And I've got a few questions for the team. You like bouncing off the wall because you've just done something that does this, that speaks to this, that you're hoping people are going to use their data to buy into.
Hopefully,
so you've made this your life, bud. You've made the search for well-being personally.
So, yeah. I think it's a lifestyle that I'm trying to share. You know that weird saying of like, happiness is best shared?
For sure.
That's that feeling that you get, and you try and create something that is efficient, that can be transferred, that many people can have access to. And you realize how important something like that is, especially when you're tying it into a digital sort of functionality, right? And that's kind of the benefit of the space that you're kind of playing in right now. You can reach so many people.
And that sits in your hand, sits in your pocket. You
the
can
power of this
connect to
thing
it.
is crazy.
We've watched you transform yourself inside and out many times using data. You've done online, you've created this incredible relationship with your trainer online. You've really enhanced your well-being with these tools. What does that mean to you? How much of a tool is this? And have you used data and access to the internet to practice self-care? What does that mean?
Most definitely. I think, you know, when the world shut down, I think I was staying all by myself. Some people had time to, you know, go in lockdown with their families. And
in the bubble.
And they'd go into their bubbles. And I was living by myself and did everything by myself. And that was my way of connecting with myself, was using access to an online trainer to just focus on me, put that spotlight on myself, and it really, really helped because even to this day, like, yes, the world is back to normal, we can go where we need to go, but your schedule doesn't always allow for it. When you are free, the gyms are closed, or when you wake up and you've got that burst of energy, the gyms are still closed. So you kind of get to tap into that source in the comfort of your own home.
No excuses.
Yes.
I love that. You know, because there's always a reason to put a barrier between you and your well-being. You can list 20 things why, you know, I can't do that. Oh, no, I can't have access. I don't have time. But this changes the game. That being said, any podcasts, apps, websites that you've lent on that really do provide that inspiration or kind of hit the mark for you, bro?
Yeah, I literally, on the daily, I have podcasts that I listen to. I have apps, websites. It's literally a part of my life. I upskill constantly throughout the day. I'm using data to access all of these mediums, right? But at the same time, I have certain people like doctors that I look up to that are influencing my decisions when it comes to health. When it comes to movement, I've got practitioners that I look up to and engage with as well. And that's the best thing about this, that it's not just that you have to watch, but data and these digital platforms allow us to actually engage. You get two-way communication.
Oh, for sure.
You get updates, you get feedback. It's
you can send your pictures, you can send your information, your data, excuse the pun, and get immediate
and constantly
validation.
Calibrating. It's the best form of progression that I've ever seen in my life.
I love it. So, Zoe, this must hold a different relevance to you now, because I'm sure there are all sorts of relatives reaching out to you, trying to connect to get a little nod to the wedding. What does having instant access to loved ones mean to you? And how much of that plays out? Because your family is kind of all over the world now.
We are. I mean, it's so nice having my brother in Cape Town, but my sister lives in Australia. She's got her little one, which is my godson, and that's how I get to connect with him. It was very cute that on his birthday I could phone, and at least he saw me on the video call and ran the other direction. But hey, can't control toddlers. But I mean, it's just you have those little snippets of what's happening in their life, especially his life. It's, like the little ones, they change so much. Like the one day they're into rugby, the next day he's into soccer. He got man of the match on Saturday, and I got to wake up to that news because of the time difference. So for me, it just means the world that I get to have access to my nephew and my, my sister that's in Australia.
Don't worry, the next phase is he'll learn how to use the phone, your sister's phone, and he'll be phoning you. My son does it with his grandfather in the UK all the time.
I think it's such a beautiful thing, because I look at the fact that I have like all these family members all over the world, right? And this changes that thing from becoming like a story, and it brings your family back to life. It's like, yeah, I've got a cousin in Australia. You don't know anything about them. It's just a story. It's just a myth. But when you see them, when you have like a Skype call, it's like, whoa, it's coming to life. I was like, you are real. And now I have like an actual association with who my cousin is. It's not just like a story, like she might have green hair. I don't know.
By that, you mean you now have a place to stay.
Yes.
Whenever you need to go over there. I get
exactly
it.
I mean.
Now, I'll put it in perspective. For me, it meant that if I was having a rough day driving when I was separated from the family, I would just ask Lins to put on the phone on a ring light and just leave it there and watch them play. For like 2 hours, I would just sit there and watch them, and they would come and they would grab the phone and give me nausea by running around. But that data literally saved my life. That's how much it means. We can connect to the people that we love, and now we can build this beautiful ecosystem around what we need and what matters most to us. So get more of what you love with Vodacom Enhance. Enhance, remember that name, is a feature that lets you add more of what you need by choosing your own contract benefits, like more access to music or streaming content, or even exciting tech if that's your zone. And you can add an enhanced benefit at any stage of your new or existing contract, and it's available from as little as 19 Rand per month. I have a feeling this is going to be a big game changer. It's showing a major shift in direction. And you can also enhance in-store or online. Vodacom.co.za is where you'll find all the info. And to celebrate the launch of Enhance, Vodacom are giving you the chance to win 3,000 Rand in cash. That'll enhance your day. To enter, tell us which benefit you'd love to enhance your contract with. Would you want more access to music, gaming, streaming content, maybe Ryle's new app, perhaps exciting wearable tech to help you reach your fitness goals? Share your answer with us on the Expresso Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram pages using hashtag Enhance with Vodacom, and you could be our lucky winner. This is going to be a big one, so get on it. There's going to be a lot of entrants, and for all the T's and C's, you can head over to expressoshow.com. Good luck.
Streamers, enhance your binge sesh. Choose from a range of benefits to add a personal touch to your contract. Get always on LTE for only 339 Rand per month over 36 months. and enhance your experience with the Volcano Mini UPS for 19 Rand per month for uninterrupted home internet. Plus, the router is included. Available in-store or online. T's and C's apply. Further together, Vodacom.
Oh, yes, Mzansi, the moment has finally arrived. Look how excited I am. Why? Because we are joined by PJ Powers on the Expresso stage this morning. Now listen up, in case you forgot it, she is an award-winning South African music legend, 12 gold discs, 4 platinum and a gold CD. Now alongside her, we're also going to be joined by DJ Kosher in just a bit because an experienced DJ has done something with this incredible soul. They've come together and remade an absolute classic. So ladies and gentlemen, let's get straight into it. PJ, how are you doing?
I'm extremely well. I am as you see me, well, happy and
yeah, you're
healthy,
looking incredible.
and up early in the morning.
Oozing all the good energy.
Yeah.
It's been a beautiful weekend, clearly.
Yeah,
yes?
yeah, it's been a very good weekend. I loved the results from our boys. Yes,
yeah, listen,
obviously.
and this is what I think you are part of. You're part of the unity, especially big occasions like this.
Yeah.
We can't not think of PJ Powers and how you've just
I hope so.
joined us together. Let's talk about World in Union. This is something that has literally moved South Africans. It's united us in some of the darkest times. Why and how did this new collaboration come together with yourself and DJ Kosher? The man has been doing some crazy things in the DJ world.
He's doing some great things in the DJ world. Yeah.
How has these, it's like an unstoppable force and immovable object have now come together and created this. How did the collaboration come about?
It came about, we both publish our music through the same publisher.
Okay.
And I got a call from John Fishlock, my publisher, who's also DJ Kosher's publisher. And he said, listen, there's this new kid on the block. He's fabulous. I'd love him. I'd love you to collaborate a bit of stuff with him. And I went to his studio. I had some other stuff that I'd written that we worked on. I really liked what he did with him. And then he also, he said, let's do, it was his suggestion, let's do a new modern dance version of
how does that come across to you? Because is that like disrespectful at first?
Not
or is
at
that
all.
like,
Not
yeah,
at
let's,
all.
you know what I mean? Like, because this is a classic, right?
Not at all. I tell you what, no, what is amazing is the song, irrespective of anything, the World in Union that I did with the Ladies with Black Mambazo will live. It's got its own life. Globally, it will live forever. But what I love about this is that it brings, the way I can explain it is that with the old version of World in Union, I want to stand and clutch my heart, With this version, I want to get up and boogie.
Okay.
And as South Africans, we can make a braai, we can do whatever we like. This is a pre-match jewel.
Okay.
That can be, this is where this can be played.
And I think right now, especially as a South African, we've discovered one of our biggest talents, and that's to move, to dance, and to just get down and boogie. So this is probably the perfect timing for it. But before we get into that song, obviously DJ Kosher is going to be joining us.
Yes.
I want to talk about what's happening right now. I believe we have an exclusive, never been performed before. This hasn't been released. No one knows anything about this. This is only supposed to happen in November.
Yes.
But you blessed us with an exclusive right now. What's happening? What's the song about?
I love Expresso. And no matter where I travel in the world, and I do travel a lot, and I perform all over the world, I always find that I get incredibly excited when I'm coming home. And that's what this song is about. It's about coming home. And you're right, this is the first time it's ever been performed on television.
Wow!
And Expresso just have always, over the years, been so incredibly gracious and kind to me that I thought, hang on a second, I changed it last night. I thought, I don't want to do Jabulani. I want to do I'm Coming Home.
Oh,
and so you saw it here first. But you have to have me back when it's released.
What do you mean? You're like family. You can come back whenever you want. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the moment has officially arrived. I hope you're ready for this. This is I'm Coming Home by PJ Powers. Enjoy the stage.
Thank you. Woo! There's going to be sound. There's going to be sound.
Call me the early sunrise. Till late in the evening they watch as I light up the night. Going back to my hometown to find some ground. Made a name for my family, I hope they're proud. Feeling free to be me, feeling free from reality. where the journey can be without fear. Be patient and you will find joy inside all of your tears. What once was a dream now is finally here. There's a man on the moon, but he looks so near. Feeling free to be me, feeling free from reality. With my mother, my father, my family is where I'll be. I'm coming home. I'm coming home. I'm coming home. I'm coming home. Free to be me, feeling free from reality. With my mother, my father, my family is where I'll be. I'm coming home. I'm coming home. I'm coming home. Yes, I'm coming home. I'm coming home. Thank you.
Yes, I'm so glad you are home. I see what you mean. You can't not
You
move to
can't
it.
not move.
What was that? What was that one little violin with a
Yeah,
kick?
yeah.
We're absolutely here for them, Zanzi. I hope you enjoyed that incredible exclusive. First time you're seeing it live right here on Expresso, and it doesn't stop there. We're still going to be diving into that remix of World in Union. PJ Powers, DJ Kosher, coming at you in just a bit. Don't go anywhere. Yes!
Do it like this. Do it like get it, move it, own it. Do it like this.
Bespoke.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. It is your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It's Expresso on S3. And this morning we've been focusing on those last few months. I'm talking about 105 days until Christmas, where you can still achieve those things you've set out at the beginning of the year within time. Now, joining us is seasoned life coaches Kirsty Melmaid and Anarine Rousseau to help us explore the idea that it's never too late to make that big change in your life that you've been dreaming about. Good morning.
Good morning, ladies. I'm sorry, this is going to only reinforce how little of the year you guys have left as well. So I think we're all in the same boat. It doesn't matter what job you hold, what position of society, time waits for no person at all. And we're feeling it. Anarine, I'm going to start with you as a fresh face. So thank you so much for joining the panel.
Thank you.
I speak from a slightly older perspective now, where the pressures are a little bit bigger. The machine that you've got to engage and move those cogs are a little bit bigger. Is it true that you really can have a fresh start, even with all these pressures that society puts on you? Now at the end of the year, we're exhausted, we're struggling to find that energy. Can I achieve a fresh start within my mind right now?
Absolutely. In my opinion, absolutely, for sure. You might need to change your mindset. You might need to look at it from a different point of view. But there's definitely possibilities to change where you're at.
I love that.
Well, can we get an example? Maybe, Kirsty, you can shed some light on someone that maybe felt like, oh, it's too late for me, but then they actually changed that mindset and they were able to change their life.
Sure. I mean, there's loads of famous examples, but I'd like to use an everyday example. One of my clients, so she was married to this man who didn't treat her very well. He was quite a toxic individual for her entire adult life, from the age of 18 until 70 when he passed away.
Wow.
Now, you would imagine, after an entire lifetime, you're like...
She'd written herself off, yeah.
Exactly. Not this lady. She signed up for one of my group programs. She came to every single session. She devoured every piece of material. And more importantly, she actually put it all into practice. And after about a year and a half, she found her inner peace again, she found her confidence, she found her joy, and she's actually now in her early 70s moving overseas to go start life fresh with her daughter.
Yeah,
Which is so brave.
That is fantastic. So whoever you are, well, because you will be unnamed, congratulations. That is absolutely amazing. When you talk about, Anarine, this shift in mindset, I always use the thing of looking through a different lens. And it's amazing how once you look at something differently, your mindset can shift. It can be very difficult when the whole world is preaching the self-help message. You've got podcasts, you've got memes, you've got people supposedly living their best life every day. It seems so unrealistic and out of touch when I need to change something that's so big and fundamental in my life. But it does start with one step. What does that step look like?
The step is actually to break the step down. Interesting, right?
Wow, okay.
Because you feel as if you have this big jungle that you need to sort through.
Yeah.
So filter down to the step that needs to change and then find a smaller step.
Oh, wow.
Because that creates the action, and the action then creates the change.
We're not climbing the mountain, we're stepping out of the tent. We're stepping out of the tent, getting a cup of coffee on the fire. I love that.
And then with that cup of coffee, stop and be like, okay, now what? I'm going to break the step down. I'm having a cup of coffee and I'm breaking the step down.
I love that. Take the pressure off.
I love that, where I think a lot of us have, you know what, it's not too late and I'm going to now break the step down. But the people around you constantly said, no, but you can't do that. Like, how can we encourage the person that's in that environment where they are so ready to make these internal changes that will eventually manifest to the outside world, but the outside world keeps boxing them back to that step? How can we encourage those individuals to keep going?
So, I mean,
it's a tough one.
That's
It's a loaded question. You've got to wear that thick skin and you've got to maintain that belief that this thing that I'm going for is possible, this change that I'm going for is possible. You have to hold on to that. And you can say to people, you can put down boundaries and say, I know that you're concerned and I know you have my best interests at heart, but how you could really support me right now is to believe in me and to ask me, what is your next step?
How can I help?
How can I help? Exactly. And to communicate to people and say, I know you're trying to help, but it's actually not helping. It's you know, bringing me down, and I don't need that right now. I need support.
I love that, and that'll also speak to a conscious shift within your own head of taking ownership of that. Don't wait for someone else to come and say, okay, you're ready to change, you're ready to grow, you're ready to embrace your best self. You have to believe it, and then it will manifest. That's how these things work. We are here to manifest. I know we've only got 101 days. Zoe keeps reminding us until Christmas. 105, thankfully. Ooh, I stole 4 days from you. But we are all feeling that pressure of making the most out of the rest of this year, and we're going to help to make that step shift, that step down in our minds when we continue this discussion.
Oh, I love that chat. But for now, let's manifest some moolah, maybe. Yes, please. And we know those months when you either have no money left or you actually have a lot of money left and you decide to treat yourself because, well, you deserve it. Well, in today's Our Money Matters chat, I'm wanting to know what you buy when you say to yourself, that's it. I'm treating myself. So bring in my two beautiful compadres and let's get this conversation. Yeah, that was just specifically at you.
Yeah,
nothing to do with the red dress.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that.
So obviously, money matters. I love this conversation, and I'm dying to know what your answers are going to be for this one. So let's dive straight into it. Mzansi, you can also play along. Firstly, when you've had a bad financial month, right, do you convince yourself that you need to treat yourself to feel better? Is that something that you maybe get caught up in?
Yes.
Every now and then, you know what, yes,
Yeah.
You've worked hard, life is tough, but I think it's also like how you treat yourself. Like, you can treat yourself without breaking the bank, but that reward, I'm there for it. That little reward.
It's filling your cup back up. I use that analogy all the time. There are simple things, and I used to do it. The crazy thing is, when I was a young man, and obviously resources were rather skint. For me, if I could get a donut.
Is that your quick fix?
Because I wasn't eating a lot of donuts back then.
The one with the hole,
yeah,
the one with the
with the white icing. No, it was. I just loved that flavor, and there was something about just having that little shift in thinking. Just it's going to be okay. Just breathe for a moment. Maybe it brought me into the presence. And the funny thing is, I would also go play arcade games at an actual old arcade. Maybe it was to take myself back to a kid. I know, but I mean, it didn't cost a lot. Probably about 50 cents. I don't know what an arcade takes now. If they even take change anymore. But there was something about just putting the brakes on and going back into that moment. So I think there is something talismanic about treating yourself.
I like that. I like the fact that you mentioned your past, but let's bring it into the future and see what you might do now. Let's say you are in that treat thyself mode and you do have money to spend. What do you spend it on? And don't, whoa.
Right now, a raincoat,
an umbrella,
a poncho.
You're hearing that, Mzansi. There's a lot of rain in Cape Town right now and in the Western Cape, which
Correct, yeah.
But let's carry on with this. What would you buy apart from an umbrella and a rain jacket?
I'm quite impulsive. I'm probably not the right person to ask this question.
Oh, okay. So you'll do something crazy with it.
I wanted this vacuum cleaner for so long, and then I had I'm going to go get it.
Okay.
Yes.
But when you got it,
You are so crazy. Did you went out and bought a vacuum cleaner? Slow down, Zoe.
Did it make you feel good though? Was it like a okay?
It was completely impulsive, but yeah, no. I think when you're in that treat thyself mode, I think sometimes for me it's like, and it's so bizarre when this happens. When I'm in that mode, I go to the store with every intention to treat myself, and then I can't find anything I like, and then I leave the store with nothing.
Despondent.
Maybe that's a very good problem.
Yeah, I know. I think you're going to be okay. I think you're going to be okay. So,
what's your good
it's not really like material things. It's more
a big donut.
Yeah, it's a massive. It's donuts for everybody. Okay, it's an experience. Definitely.
Oh, nice.
Go out and spend a ridiculous amount of money on a meal out with the family. I love that. I love that kind of element of socializing. And it's not something that we do a lot. So for me, that has become the thing. But I don't know, there is a list of things that I'd like to buy that I think might end up there. But yeah, I think you get to my age and you start to kind of ring fence that because you know what it does mentally for you, but you don't want the fallout to then compound the negative after the fact.
100% get you. Listen, one more question to get into this. What is your one guilty pleasure that you don't mind spending money on? Because without fail, it will always cheer you up. So maybe not that vacuum cleaner always, but there's got to be one thing.
Just cleaning products in general, I'm thinking. Yeah.
I think it's that treat of, like you said, instead of going out and spoiling yourself with a meal, it's actually ordering a takeaway from your favorite restaurant, but having it at home.
Okay,
it sounds so weird,
but
it's
just
like
things, I think,
that proper steak that you only get at a restaurant, but you have it in the comfort of your own home.
That's nice.
That
I should
for me
try
is a
that
good
actually.
treat.
We have a takeout night. So following from my mom's kind of tradition with us is Friday night was takeout night, so we would look forward to it. The kids have a pretty kind of narrow view of what their favorite takeout is. Okay, I'm not going to promote the brand right now. But it's become a part of this little tradition where we go and watch Lynn's teach. and we sit on the stage in the hall that she's teaching, and the kids get feeling, and we do little private performances up there. And for me to sit and watch that play out with them getting inspo from what she's doing in that way, and it's just, and the takeouts obviously becomes the vehicle to see that play out. And we don't have a huge amount of takeout these days. Everyone's like so strict on our diets that I love that. I actually absolutely love that tradition, but I think it's because I remember doing that with my mom. I remember her coming home after work on a Friday and be like, all right, what are the choices? And us going and us making our choices. My sister and I were always different, and I love that. So I think it's more the tradition than the splurge.
I love these answers, guys. Keeping it real, keep it authentic, and that's what it's about. And we're always going to be preaching saving, but it goes without saying that it is equally important to treat yourself too. And in fact, if you can identify one activity or one item that you know makes you feel better, then it could make all the sense to help you make a better money choice. And that's during the month, because you have set a goal that you're saving towards. Yes, that can be your incentive right there. So to help you save on things like groceries, petrol, and banking fees, why don't you check out the Nedbank My Goals account? And this is the opportunity to see whether you would rather spend your money on things that matter most to you or possibly experiences, gifts. It doesn't matter as long as it makes you happy.
Check this. This My Goals Plus account gives you cash back on groceries and 25 cents back per litre at BP. That's lit.
Lit in 2023.
So we're going to take the quickest of breaks. When we return, we're going to continue to help you make the most of the time that you have left. In fact, it doesn't matter what stage of life you're in, it's never too late to spark that excitement again and make a change. And we'll get you into the right mindset in just a moment.
Oh, exciting things. Now, earlier you heard her perform. Now we're going to see her cook and just share one of her favorite recipes. PJ Powers is in the kitchen getting ready to share.
That's a bunny chow. I bet you that's a bunny chow, please.
Bunny chow.
Yes.
Oh, see you soon. Just when you've got a spring in your step, the last thing you need are allergies cramping your style.
But that's history with Allergex Non-Drowsy and Expresso's Springtime competition.
This month, stand a chance to win cash prizes of 5,000 Rand each when you answer the weekly question on Expresso's Facebook, Twitter and Instagram pages, and include hashtag AllergexND in your answer.
T's and C's apply.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back as we continue our very enriching conversation with life coaches Kirsty Melmed and Anarine Rousseau, talking about taking a leap of faith in ourselves and making that transformative change you've been longing for, waiting for, and you're ready for.
Well, Kirsty, I'm going to start off with you. What words of encouragement do you have for people that have perhaps, tried to make a change, but they didn't succeed? That starting again is always a frustrating process, but it's also very demotivating when you have to go through it all again. How can we encourage those that feel like they've failed and they have to try again?
Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for getting it wrong, for letting yourself down, for maybe letting other people down. Forgive yourself.
Judgment. Yeah.
Exactly, that's self-judgment and shame, and that's what's keeping you in that dark place. So just forgive yourself and start with that first step today.
I love that. You say that so you're so practiced at saying that. I'm terrified, okay? My life is my construct. It's all that I control. It's the only thing that I have some semblance of control over. Now you're telling me I must change all of that. I'm terrified. The amount of fear that is involved in change, especially when it speaks to our fundamental self. How do we overcome that? How do we overcome or utilize the fear? Because it's there for a reason.
So now you've hit the nail on the head, right?
That's twice this morning I've done it. Come on.
The thing is there's success in failure.
Yeah.
If in the failure is the reason why we know what to do next and see the success. So when you're feeling paralyzed and you're stuck and you don't know what to do, actually look at that.
Embrace it, yeah.
Yeah, actually, why do I feel like such a failure? Do the forgiveness thing, it's beautiful. And then look at the failure, because it's in the failure that you find the success.
The learnings, yeah, and you need that. And it's amazing. We have obviously the advantage of interviewing thousands of successful people. And I always ask them off camera, how do you view failure? And they'll always look at me with this quizzical, they don't even see it anymore.
Yeah.
Unless they are failing 3 or 4 times a day, they're not growing, learning, conquering what they need to. So it's amazing to take that on board. I love that.
Why do people feel like, oh, it's too late, I'm not even going to bother? Why do people tend to think that way?
So again, it's the voices of all the people around us telling us we can't do it, society's expectations and views, but also that's telling yourself, I can't do this, is like a self-sabotage, because actually a lot of us are scared of success. We're scared of achieving the things we want to achieve. And we think we're scared of failure, but it's not failure. We're scared of success.
That unknown. Yeah.
Because if I have to be that person, it's so different from the person I am now. That's really scary. So I would look at that and say, is it me that's actually holding myself back? And how can I start to shift that in a narrative?
Yeah, I love that. Like, what about that end goal, that image on the vision board actually is real? Because a lot of that is maybe a notion that has been grown up or grown in you through society or your parents and. Yes. What do you actually, what is that ikigai? What is that calling? Can we marry those? Maybe you two are perfectly positioned to be able to answer this question because you've chosen to make your careers about this. And I would imagine there comes a time when you go to your parents as a life coach and they're like, what is that? Or what are you coaching them on? And you understand it, you get it because it's one-on-one. You get to see the difference you make in people's lives. How did you do it? What has been the big shift in your life, Anarine, for you finding your purpose? And maybe we're not all there yet, but what advice would you have for someone who's following in your path?
I concentrated more on the why I needed life to be in a certain way, opposed to the how.
I love that.
Because when I was in the how, I was stuck. How am I going to, be a life coach? How am I going to improve my life? It's like, oh, I don't know. But why? Changed the way I felt about it. It's like, why? I want to help people. I want to be out there. And it changed what I needed to do by concentrating on the why.
I love that, because the why never goes away. You always know where you're going, because you look down on the map, it's there. You feel it, you live it every single day.
Well, Anarine, Kirsty, thank you so much for joining us today and shedding some advice on how you at home can also tap into your why instead of your how, so that you can also, have that approach of that it's never too late.
Zanzi, the time is now, of course, because not only have we seen her perform, but it's time to see her get involved in the kitchen. Yes, South Africa has so many star dishes that we get to call our own, and one of them being a bunny chow. Yes, please. And PJ Powers is joining us from the stage into the kitchen to whip up her favorite version of this bunny chow. It's super easy. It's called the chicken bunny chow, and it's going to definitely take you less than an hour to prepare. So I'm absolutely here for this. PJ Powers, how are we doing this?
Okay, I'll tell you how we're doing this.
Yeah?
I've already put my oil in here, okay? Now I'm adding my onions. They're probably going to be, it's going to be very hot because this is on.
We want it to be hot, right?
Yeah, we want it to be hot, but we don't want to burn the onions. And then my trick is never to add oil because I'm not mad about overly oily food.
Okay.
So if these start to, while they're softening, if the oil starts to get too hot, I just have always got a little bit of water on hand.
Oh, nice, okay.
So that I just add water while I'm softening.
It's a little bit of a health box, a health hack over there.
Yeah,
not to add too much oil to the meal. I like that, actually.
I don't like that layer of oil that sits on a bunny chow. You know, I grew up on bunny chow. I'm from KZN.
I wanted to ask you, why out of all the recipes that we asked you to make today, you said, I want to share a bunny chow.
I'm a bunny girl.
Okay, so is this like something you have a good association with? Is it something you often had?
I would have the bunny chow now. Probably for the last 5 years, I'd have the bunny chow without the bread. It defeats the object a bit, but I really do think that this is... I went to a function the other day, and somebody had very cleverly bought these little rolls.
Yeah.
And cut them in half, and they had, as finger food, they had these tiny little...
like mini bunny chows?
Yeah, no, just mini bunny chows. Yeah,
that's pretty smart. I'm just trying to wrap my head around the fact that this has to be making sense because you're performing constantly. You're still performing back to back. Like this weekend, you were performing every single day.
Yeah.
You're out here on the show this morning. You're going to meet Carl later this afternoon on radio. You've got more performances coming up. There's got to be a secret to this. There's got to be a reason why you're moving like you're still a 30-year-old, acting like a teenager. No, but honestly,
gotta love him.
You've got such incredible energy. It's got to be, is it the fuel? Is it the movement? What's making this all come together so magically for so many years still? And it seems like it's only day one.
I think sobering up 14 years ago helped.
Okay.
So I've been sober for 14 years. So I don't drink. I've never smoked.
Nice.
And I think most of all, my downtime is mine. I try to have as much of it as possible. I'm by nature a positive person.
Okay.
I'm not a pessimist. I mean, I'm not a negative person.
Okay.
And I make very careful that the people I surround myself with are positive.
And positive.
There is nothing more powerful than negative energy.
Oh, that is so true. I realized that when you came here this morning because it was just nothing but good vibes. I could feel the energy and it's radiated through the entire studio. So much so that we forgot to actually pay attention to this recipe right now. So let's get straight into it. I'm chopping onions. I'm chopping some bread. What are you adding to the pot over there?
I'm adding some just regular tomato paste.
All right.
That's going to be fine. What I have forgotten to do, which I should have done before the tomato paste, but it's okay. I mean, it's a bunny chow after
That's all good.
Is I'm going to add, this is tamarind paste. But if you haven't got this, you can use...
like a curry powder or something?
You can use curry paste, a powder. You can use whatever you like.
Okay, I like
you can use a butter chicken paste.
Ooh, yeah, so you can get creative with this as long as you don't forget what are the staples here, right? The bread, I'm assuming, is obviously a big part of bunny chow.
Cut that in half.
Okay.
And
Cutting
then
that in half.
I'll show you. And then you've eaten a bunny.
I have
and
indeed.
Scoop out
I've loved it. And I made a mistake of ordering a vegetarian bunny chow in Durban, thinking it's going to be very mellow. My throat turned into fire. I turned into a dragon. It was so hot. The ratios in Durban are very different to Cape Town when it comes to hotness, but I'm absolutely here for it. So I've cut the bread open. This is a very important part. You got to make sure you get the insides out of this, right?
Yes,
How do you do it?
Okay, with your hands.
You just go straight into it. Okay, cool. So I can just dig it out?
But don't dig too deep because you don't want the bunny chow to come seeping through the bottom. Because that's going to make a hell of a mess.
Spoken like a professional. I got you. And then the insides you can kind of still use for later on. That you can like absorb the sauce and the flavor. Oh,
so now what I'm going to do is obviously I would cook this up a little longer, but for the, by the way, in terms of seasoning, I know people say don't over-season your food. That you can always add later. But there's nothing worse than getting unseasoned food as well. I really do believe that the product has to live in the salt, in the pepper, in whatever seasoning you're using. You can't just give a meal with no salt unless somebody's sitting around with a kidney failure. But you know, you can't just rely on adding salt. Something has to cook with it.
Yes.
Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the chicken pieces, okay?
All right.
These have been sitting in the fridge for an hour in a bit of yogurt.
Ooh,
or
nice.
Yogurt,
Okay,
whichever
cool.
way you prefer saying it. And I'm going to add that. If there hadn't been chicken in this yogurt, I'd just lick the...
I definitely agree with you over there.
Okay.
Listen, we are going to be touching on more of this recipe in just a bit. Obviously, having so much fun with the legend, PJ Powell's in the building. We kind of like halfway through this bunny chow.
Yep,
We're
that
gonna
has
move
to
over.
simmer anyway.
That's going to simmer for a little bit. We'll dive into the final steps of this recipe in just a bit, Mzansi. So you don't go anywhere.
This September on Expresso, celebrate Pharmacy Month by telling us who your favorite pharmacist is for the chance to win R1,000 cash each weekday with Adcock Ingram OTC, sponsors of Brave. Check out the competition post on Expresso's social media pages. Tell us who your favorite pharmacist is and why, and include the hashtag sponsors of Brave to enter. T's and C's apply and can be found on expressoshow.com.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Yes, Mzansi, welcome back to Feel Good Breakfast Show. It has been an incredible Monday so far. PJ Power showing us so much in the kitchen, showing us so much entertainment. We're going to dive into the end of the recipe in just a bit. But before we do that, of course, official duties must commence. And Zoe's standing by with the latest.
Thank you, Raul. Let's start off with your national news. Parliament's National Assembly will be this afternoon voting for the removal of the suspended public protector Busisiwe Mkhwebane. This follows Parliament's Section 194 committee submitting of its report to the National Assembly, recommending that Mkhwebane will be removed due to incompetence and misconduct. Members of the National Assembly will meet in person at the Cape Town City Hall to vote via roll call. 2/3 or 266 of the 400 MPs must vote in favour of the committee's report for Mkhwebane to be removed. And staying with our local news, the KwaZulu-Natal provincial government has announced that the funeral services of the traditional Prime Minister of the Zulu Nation, Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi, will be held on Friday. Buthelezi passed away at the age of 95 at his homestead near Ulundi in the early hours of Saturday morning. The Buthelezi family thanked South Africans from all walks of life for the outpouring of messages of condolences as they mourn the sad passing of the head of their family. Moving to news abroad, at least 35 people have been killed after a crowded market in Sudan's capital of Khartoum was hit with explosive weapons, a medical charity has said. Some 60 people were wounded. Local residents say a military aircraft bombarded the Koro market in the south of Khartoum yesterday. Rival military factions have been fighting since April. Sudan plunged into a civil war in April after Army Chief General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan and the commander of the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces, General Muhammad Hamdan Dagalo, had a fallout. And Hong Kong was flooded by the heaviest rainfall in nearly 140 years on Friday, leaving the city streets and subway stations underwater and forcing schools to close. Just across the border, authorities in China's tech hub, Shenzhen, recorded the heaviest rain since records there began in 1952. Meanwhile, in Greece, Storm Daniel, which meteorologists said was the worst to hit the country since records began in 1930, pummeled the country for 3 days after a record summer heat wave that had touched off huge wildfires. And the National Sea Rescue Institute, the NSRI, has 39 instructors in its drowning prevention team who raises awareness about the dangers of water regarding matters such as what to do if someone gets into trouble in water and how to perform bystander CPR. Dr. Jill Fortain, who heads the NSRI's Drowning Prevention Department, said in August this year they achieved a record number of 120,000 lessons taught to children across all 9 provinces. They're also well on their way to achieve their target of 750,000 this year. She added that they're gearing up their plans to hit their goal of 1 million children taught next year. Well, that's where I leave your morning headlines. Let's take a final look at your sport.
Thank you so much, Zozo. Let's start with the good news first and a little bit of rugby. The Springboks, they showcased their pre-tournament prowess with a commanding performance, albeit a little slow start, but they launched their Rugby World Cup campaign with an 18-3 victory over Scotland. So the win significantly alleviating the qualification pressure in a very challenging pool of death. And the renowned Scottish running game was effectively thwarted, and the Springboks seized control of the match with 2 tries early in the second half. That 7-up bomb squad doing the job. So now up next for the boys in green and gold, and hopefully we'll see them in green and gold, is a clash against Romania on September the 17th. Now, it's been an amazing weekend in sports, definitely marked by the tennis. In a remarkable Sunday showdown, Novak Djokovic secured his 4th US Open title and now equaled the historic record of 24 Grand Slam singles championships. Incredible. He achieved the feat by sweeping aside Daniil Medvedev in straight sets, avenging his previous defeat at the hands of the Russian in the final 2 years ago. Now, at 36 years old, Djokovic became the oldest male champion in New York's Open era, matching, of course, the legendary Margaret Court's all-time Grand Slam victory record. So this achievement adds to his earlier successes at this year's Australian and French Opens, with his sole setback, of course, coming in that 5-set loss to Carlos Alcaraz. But, of course, he has now underpinned his title as the GOAT. You can put that phone down and hang up. Now we turn to cricket. Not the best story for South Africa. Australia surged to a 2-0 lead in their ODI series against the Proteas, and clearly they've got our bowling attacks number, securing a commanding 123-run victory at Bloemfontein's Mangwang Oval. Now Marnus Labuschagne, again the man of the moment, named player of the match once again, scoring a remarkable 124 runs, while David Warner contributed a century as well, and then Travis Head added a fiery 64, enabling Australia to reach a formidable total of 392 for 8. It was always going to be a bridge too far, as the Proteas did show some early promise in the chase, thanks to Quinton de Kock and Themba Bavuma. He continued his brilliant form from the first match, but ultimately the team faltered, finishing at 269 all out. So Potchefstroom, you're going to have to put your hand up. Both teams will be heading to Potch, as of course they continue to gear up for that upcoming ICC Men's Cricket World Cup in India. Clearly a bit of work to be done on the Proteas side. Now, talk about a bit of work to be done. How about a complete reversal in fortunes as Germany has now made a stunning decision to remove their head coach, Hansi Flick, and that's just 9 months before hosting Euro 2024. So this unprecedented move follows their 4-1 loss to Japan over the weekend, marking the first ever sacking of a Germany head coach since 1926. Now, Rudy Fuller, the sporting director at the moment, will take on the interim role with a permanent replacement to be named later. They're going to need some kind of continuity. The decision is attributed to recent disappointing results, with the German FA aiming to infuse optimism and confidence as they prepare for Euro 2024. I don't know if this is the right way to go about it, but they needed to do something. Germany have struggled, suffering 4 losses in 6 matches since their early World Cup exit in December. I think many thinking that would have been the time to make the change. But that European tournament is looming large. It kicks off in Germany in June of 2024. So we'll certainly watch that space closely. And likewise, all of the World Cup action continuing throughout the week. Revel in that. But that's a wrap of our sport for this morning. Hopefully, the roads aren't looking too competitive at this time, but a couple of incidents to report on. Raul's going to give you the latest.
Thank you so much, Shima. And yes, one last time, let's dive into the traffic first up this morning. And if you're in the Kempton Park area of Johannesburg, to be specific, there's been an accident on the R21, and that's south before Pomona Road. Now, if you're on the area, please do approach with caution when passing by. Now, from Johannesburg, we head over to Cape Town and Bellville, where there's congestion on the R300, and that's northbound at the Old Paarl Road. So you again can expect delays in the area. And for anybody heading out on the roads today, buckle up, plan accordingly, and stay safe. From the road to the sky, let's see what's happening in the latest when it comes to weather. Weather news one last time this morning. Now, very cold, windy and wet conditions with possible light snowfalls over the mountains are expected in the Eastern Cape, the Northern Cape, as well as the interior of the Western Cape today. Now, the SA Weather Service has subsequently issued several warnings. A yellow level 4 warning for damaging waves resulting in difficulty in navigation at sea between Plettenberg Bay and Alexander Bay, and a yellow level 1 warning for parts between Plettenberg Bay and Port Edward, and between Port Edward and Maputo. Now, damaging winds can also be expected along the KZN coastline. And on top of this, disruptive snow is expected over the mountains and high ground of the Eastern Cape, the southwestern parts of the Northern Cape, the northwestern parts of the Western Cape, as well as the extreme southwestern parts of KZN. Now, lastly, on top of this, a warning coming through: extreme high fire danger conditions are expected in the eastern parts of both the Free State and northwest, the central parts of Mpumalanga, and in some areas in Limpopo. Well, definitely crazy polarities there when it comes to temperatures from highs and lows, but let's see exactly how those temperatures look in your side of the world. Now, starting off in Polokwane, your day starting at a low of 11 up to a high of 35 degrees. Umbumbela, very similar conditions, hot, hot, hot from 13 up to 35. Pretoria 7 is your low up to 32 degrees. And Johannesburg, continuing with the heat from 3, you move up to 30 degrees Celsius. Over to Mahikeng now, where it looks like the heat continues from 1 degree, you move up to 25 degrees Celsius. Klerksdorp comes from a chilly 0 degrees up to a nice warm 25. Kimberley from a super chilly -5 to a moderate 15 degrees. And Bloemfontein -6 to start the day up to a high of 18 degrees Celsius. Over in Richards Bay, however, the coastline looks like it brings back the rain from 11 up to 23 degrees. Pietermaritzburg starts on 5 and moving up to a high of 19 with lots of rain. Durban continues the wet conditions from 11 up to 22, and Mthatha 2 to start the day up to a chilly max of only 14 degrees Celsius. Carrying on around the coast, and it looks like the wet conditions continue. East London 7 up to 14 for your max. Cradock starting on a very chilly -3 and only moving up to 13. GQ Gqeberha 7 is your low up to a high of 14, and George 5 and only moving up to a high of 13 degrees Celsius. Over in the mother city, Cape Town, the wet conditions continue from 4 up to only 14 degrees. Worcester starting at -1 and only moving up to 10. Sutherland, definitely the coldest place in South Africa, from -7. Snow coming through and only moving up to a potential max of 4 degrees. Looks like 14 on our latest update though. And last but not least, Uppington coming from 0 all the way up to 14 degrees Celsius. Well, it looks like it's going to be wet conditions and warm conditions. It's all over the show. But let's see what it actually looks like. And one last time, let's dive into the sunrise views. Starting us off for this final edition, we've got Tacy in Hout Bay. I mean, this is beautiful. Look at that, out on the water, feeling so blessed with these views. Oh, that is just majestic stuff indeed. Making me feel like a pirate. Next up, we got Natasha from KZN walking around feeling so excited about the beautiful day ahead. I mean, look at these views. The reflection of the light just out on the water there. That is just a perfect finishing touch. Then we got Razia in GQ capturing this beautiful shot. Full, brightly lit skies, pink tones. Oh, what power indeed. And then we got Vaneshri out in Port Shepstone, also showing off stunning pinks in the sky. This is just outstanding. I mean, all of these pictures could go down as canvas art paintings. I'll start the bidding off at, just give it all to me, I want it now. Zanzi, thank you, honestly. These pictures are amazing. Keep it coming. We'll do it all again in the morning. And don't forget the numbers, 063-408-8863. Speaking of magic, check it out.
Yeah, magic aplenty this morning. All sorts of threads are being woven together. And yes, a lot of that feeds our mental health. So much to inspire us. And in fact, we're going to bring you the 8-step guide to modern mental health. Yes, the game has changed. I'm going to add my own step there, a pre-step, okay? You take the greatest song that's ever been made, performed around the greatest moment, and you make it kosher, okay? You just give it a little modern treatment. The world in union is looking and sounding a little bit different thanks to DJ Kosher and one of our absolute favorite human beings on the whole planet. I love you too, man. But it's PJ Powers, boy. It's PJ Powers. They're going to be performing just for you. Hang around.
Crouch, touch, but don't you dare pause. Because when you buy any of our favorite Clover products, keep the till slip handy and catch the Expresso breakfast show every weekday morning for more details on how to enter. While the Boks are battling for rugby's greatest prize, you can win your share of 80,000 rands worth of Weber Braais. So engage and win with rugby's greatest moments, brought to you with love by Clover.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. It is your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It's Expresso on S3, and we're going to continue the conversation about achieving our goals before the end of the year. And it's very important for your mental health too to have those check-ins. This morning, we're going to find inspiration from a new self-help book. It's called The 8-Step Guide to Modern Mental Health. And we have the author, Devin Munsami, in studio with us as we unpack this a little more. Good morning and welcome.
A very good morning to you. Thank you for having me.
How are you doing?
I'm doing very good.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was hailing a few minutes ago.
I know.
Crazy, hey? Yeah, the weather in South Africa is crazy, but I think when it comes to emotions, it can sometimes be viewed as a lot more crazier, right? Now, something that's really exciting is this book that you provided. It's offering this guide to deal with our mental health and many other issues. And one thing that is highlighted, especially in the first step, is to understand it. And that understanding of our mental health, modern mental health, what it actually means. I want to know exactly what are some of these subtle nuances that are affecting and influencing our mental health today, especially.
Well, in everyday life, I mean, a job like this, people walking into corporate positions, even people at home or students, pressures of exams, conflict within the workspace, managers, colleagues, rifts. So there's so many different aspects and elements we could think of in our day-to-day lives that affect the way in which we see the rest of the world and ourselves, and how we respond to those things.
And these don't sound like major things. These are like small things that we constantly engage with throughout the day. And this is important to actually become aware of this, right?
Of course, a practical thing, a car breaks down, you miss a payment, financial commitments, school fees, your kid not passing an exam as an example. So all of these things, just everyday little things that sometimes when we don't necessarily have the tools to deal with them, could amplify, could almost like the pressure cooker effect, could allow us to explode eventually emotionally.
And it starts small and it builds and it builds. And if you don't release that pressure cooker, I can imagine the ramifications can be quite disastrous in that aspect. But Devin, let's unpack triggers, because I think there are quite a few triggers in this world that can set off someone's anxiety or set off, you know, that state of mind that they were in and completely flip it. How can we identify certain triggers and what's the best way of not necessarily avoiding them, but facing them head on?
Triggers come in many forms for many people. So for 8 billion people in the world, there are probably like 8 billion different versions of what a trigger could be. So if we look in the corporate context as an example, we govern by policies and procedures, a code of conduct. Sometimes people don't recognize the triggers because I'm supposed to behave in a particular way in business. So I'm supposed to act in a certain way. I'm not supposed to express myself because the policy tells me to behave like this and like that and have an automated response. So people don't often identify the trigger at that particular moment because we focused on the policy and the framework or the code of conduct. Only after that, some people will reflect and go, I wasn't comfortable with that meeting. I wasn't comfortable with what happened with my colleague at that moment. So some people are delaying the identification of the trigger. So when we delay it, we miss the opportunity to actually work on it. So if we're angry at that moment, it's important for us to recognize my anger and to be able to work with it. Otherwise, we're missing a learning opportunity. So triggers are many. So it could be a long list of things for many different people. Could be traffic, we mentioned finances, could be the kids, could be somebody just moving your coffee cup or somebody not even washing a coffee cup in the sink, and you're working with many different people. So there's so many, there's a plethora of them.
Now, we mentioned triggers, and I hope that people can be aware of them and identify them, because that's one of the steps. But the book also highlights what to do in the situation where we maybe are aware of these triggers. We now need to deal with it. We have some sort of a coping mechanism that we sort of instill. How, based on what you've seen, maybe from what we can see in the book, how exactly can we possibly go about dealing once we are aware of these sort of triggers? Because that's easier said than done, right?
Yeah. Now, that's why I thought the 8 steps is a great way to introduce these concepts to people. So I've been doing a lot of diversity programs with the college that I run and own. and between Cape Town and Joburg and Durban, and I saw a common thread with the last book, Racism and Classism. It was about finding a balance and social cohesion in the workplace. And then that was done, and then we realized that post-COVID, that a lot of people were struggling to cope mentally in the workplace. So stress was a factor, and the body has a physical reaction to stress. So I decided, well, let's leave them with a guidebook in terms of how to manage it. So, so having the step-by-step guide is almost the absence of having to speak to a counselor, like myself, for example. So you can yourself navigate through understanding on a day-to-day basis how to deal with these things. So we spoke about the stress having a physical reaction. Sometimes when the cortisol levels are very high in the body, then dopamine and all those other fun, happy endorphins are a little bit, lower. And we're not enjoying the moment, right now, because stress and anxiety is so high. And some people, even after COVID, we've experienced in the corporate space and generally, some people have a bit of social anxiety. Even going out to a dinner party, people need to psych themselves up before they actually go out. And we need to talk about these things,
Yeah, we definitely do. Well, Devin, don't go anywhere. The book is available for you. This is Devin Munsami's 8-Step Guide to Modern Health, and you are in luck because one lucky Expresso winner will be able to win a signed copy. Now, all you need to do is answer the following question. Why do you want to learn more about how to improve your mental health? It's a very easy question. Head on over to Expresso's Facebook page, comment and use that hashtag Modern Mental Health. The competition will close at midday on Sunday, the 17th of September. So you've got some time to get your entries in. There are T's and C's that can be found, and those are available on our website, expressoshow.com. But don't worry, we're giving one away, but this book is available for you, and we're still going to continue our conversation with Devin, so stay tuned.
I'm actually so excited right now, I'm struggling to stand. So my favorite song, World in Union, has been remixed with PJ Powers and DJ Kosher, and they're going to be performing it in just a moment. So like, box ticked, best day of my life. Now we've got a bunny chow that you've made. PJ Powers made her own bunny chow, and now she's going to teach me how to eat it. Peach, okay, how does one eat a bunny chow? Bearing in mind, half our viewership might just turn off their TV if we don't do it right. So how do you set your bunny chow up?
How I set my bunny chow up is cook my chicken. This is a chicken bunny. Okay, so I've got a half loaf of sort of government white bread, all right?
Government white bread,
boom. Take out the center, not too much, as I said earlier, because we don't want the bunny to leak through.
You've got to have a bit of backbone there.
Exactly.
Okay.
So, and good luck if you can eat a whole bunny. I normally order a quarter bunny.
You see, and there's no shame in that. There's
not a shame at all. And then, we politely...
Is there anything polite about a bunny? I don't know.
No, there's nothing polite about a bunny, let's face it. So you want to choose meat and potato. There's nothing more irritating than just getting meat.
Okay.
I mean, just getting potato in your bunny. Okay? And you can fill it up.
There we go.
Even more.
You see, I'm that person who overfills my plates, overfills my bunny.
Well, you've got to fill this up because it's got to look nice.
It's got to look abundant.
Ideally, and you've got to have some sauce on the top because my mouth is watering.
I know, it's actually... so this is the crazy, sick joke about this. I'm fasting at the moment.
Well, there's your... Shame.
And I'm being tested every day. We had braais for the 3 mornings at the end of last week, okay? Now we are cooking bunny chow, and I love this. You don't understand. Okay, show me how it's done.
And then, well, I would maybe put a little bit of chutney on the top there. And,
oh, yeah.
And that is your bunny to go.
Can I have that? Can I have that? Because I'm just spiritually connected to you. I absolutely love it.
Connected to me.
We are. You don't understand the amount of amazing moments I've had in my career standing next to you, just because you've been a part of our narrative, our story.
Ditto.
And I thank you for saying that. 10 years on since we lost Tata, there is something special in the air at the moment. The country is feeling hope again in a way that I haven't felt before. Do you feel it? Do you feel...
I definitely do. I think that the Rugby World Cup, I think every 4 years, we get this absolute elation about being a together nation.
Yeah.
And I would have to say that, and this is not a down comment or anything, but I'd have to say is we have a window of opportunity now to turn the trajectory to move the trajectory of this country. And nothing is better than the World Cup strategically pushing just before our next year's elections to make sure that we are a nation as one. And it's not the party that counts. It's the being together. We're more polarized now than we ever were. And I'd love to see that change.
Yeah, I get that, but we're also more connected than we've ever been
Yeah.
before, which is why I think we are feeling it. And if you want to
Yeah.
feel it right now, the World in Union is how to do it. We're going to perform that after the break while I cry myself to sleep right now.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
It is your Feel Good Breakfast Show indeed. Welcome back, and you're just in time because we're about to chat to one of my favorites. She is known for her role as Aggie on Seven Delan, but actress and model Nombuhle Mimi. She's joining us this morning ahead of her episode with the Insider Essay. Now, born in Soweto, she grew up enjoying speech and drama at school and remembers her first paid acting job as a TV advert for a bank. Now she's proud and confident, and we love her so much, and we love that she's here able to talk to us about her time on the beloved soapy. Mimi, it's so great to be able to chat to you again, and I'm gonna try my hardest not to refer to you as Aggie like I think a lot of people tend to do. So, Mimi,
good morning.
Good morning. I think, you know, when it comes to times like this, it's such a beautiful time to reflect. Let's go back to when you auditioned for Seven Delan. You were still studying drama when you went and auditioned. What was that process like? And did you ever think you would be, you know, going to that audition, that you would still be portraying that incredible character that you did?
Wow, an interesting story. I was still studying, so I didn't audition for Seven Delan. They came and found me at school.
Oh, wow.
So, I was fortunate enough in my third year to portray a few of my monologues that I had prepared for industry casting directors. And one of the directors of Seven Delan was there, and they're like, yes, we like you, and there's a role. It was meant to be literally a cameo role of Aggie, and then 18 years later, here I am. I didn't think it would last this long, but I'm grateful that it did. I am thankful as well to the producers of the show for giving me the platform and the opportunity.
Yeah. Well, I know when Seven Delan started, they didn't have the subtitles at the bottom. So would you say you are fluently Afrikaans, or is it something you've had to learn and you know, just adapt to the language that, you know, might not be your first language?
Also, I think it's, after 18 years of working with the language, I think it is one of the most easiest languages to work with. It is very expressive. You will adapt eventually. I did, and I think now I'm a fluent Afrikaans speaker.
I love that. Absolutely love that. Now, in recent years, you've also opened up about your own mental health and your own journey. And today we are talking about, you know, seeing those goals through that you've set out for yourself. So perhaps, Mimi, do you have any advice for any of our viewers that perhaps is watching now and they feel like, you know what, they're a bit overwhelmed with life right now, or they're a bit uncertain of what the future might hold? Is there any words of encouragement you would like to share with them?
Yes, definitely. As we all know, mental health is a real thing. It is serious. There are many people that live with it. My encouragement or advice that I would give to somebody that feels a bit overwhelmed with life at the moment is to seek help in terms, which is what I did, is to seek help in terms of therapy. I know a lot of people don't want to hear that. They think, oh my goodness, if I go to therapy, I'm weak. I don't want a stranger to hear my problems. But it helps to offload and just talk to somebody about what you are going through. So they give you a different perspective of how to look at life. So I would definitely encourage people to go for therapy. And if you can't afford it, because it's also a financial situation, you can speak to friends. I encourage people to speak to friends all the time. It took me long to speak to my friends and my family, right? But eventually when I did, it helped, and it also helped them to understand what kind of a person I am.
Definitely. Well, listen, I love that you got to share that with us. And what's quite beautiful is we get to see you on the Insider SA tonight. And like the name says, we get a bit more of an insight to your everyday life without giving away too much, but also enough to get people to watch tonight. What can we expect from your moment on the Insider SA, Mimi?
You can definitely expect to know Mimi a bit more. You will see a bit of Aggie because I have to speak about her, but you'll definitely see the things that make me tick. I'm just a girl from the township in Alexandra and how I grew up. And yeah, you'll get to know me and the profession that I do, obviously.
And we are fascinated by it. So I'm so happy you get to give the Insider SA viewers an insight to not only who Mimi is, but also let us see a little bit about Aggie and the industry that you're in. Thank you so much for joining us today. Yes. And remember to tune in to the Insider SA this evening to join Mimi for an exclusive peek into her everyday life.
I am having a lot of fun catching up with these two incredible individuals because we've walked a parallel path. And I say that with all due respect to PJ Powers, who's, of course, walked all of our paths. We affectionately know her as Tandeka, but she has provided that road. You're going to have to take it on board at some point. There's a generation that rests on your shoulders.
Really?
I was there in 95.
Soundtrack to everybody's lives.
It's no pressure at all. We've arrived at a magical moment here. The timing is right for South Africa. We needed a new soundtrack that dipped into the old, that connects us to this energy, that gave us this country, really, that taps into the power of what sport can do, but just hits us right in the feels. And we've got that right now. I'm going to ask you...
Clever man.
Oh, he's a very clever man, an unbelievably talented man. I'm going to ask you, because you do actually have a microphone on.
Yeah.
This song, it's one of the greatest songs that's ever been written, performed, and attached to a moment. How much pressure when kind of jigging something like this, or was it the easiest thing you've ever done? Talk me through that creative process.
I mean, it actually is easier than you think, because a good song is a good song. So, you know, any producer that's qualified, and, you know, I'm a qualified producer, so an experience, so any producer can take a good song with good chords, good feeling, and you add to that the energy and the emotion behind the actual moments connected to the song. I mean, it's like sometimes you have to kind of search for that feeling in a song, or like kind of create it yourself, and this didn't need anything. It was like it's all there. The feelings were there. I didn't, you know, it's very often we write music or we produce music in the studio to like a sheet of paper, or it's the first time you're hearing a song. This one was like the song's in my head, like let's go, yeah. So it was a really special. Obviously, it's a little bit of pressure, I guess, but I mean, at the end, if PJ liked it, I was always going to...
You were always going to get the stamp of approval. Here is the bottom line. Normally, the song speaks to our past, maybe speaks to our present, but today, it speaks to our future, and I absolutely love it. For the first time, it is PJ Powers and DJ Kosher performing The World in Union.
Is a dream I feel so rare, so real,
It's the goosebump test. We've done it. Absolutely amazing. Oh, incredible. It is the world in union. I hope somewhere Sia was picking up on that vibe. He's got that touch of magic right now. You've done something special. And I know you guys are going to be performing at Moraleta Kerk, the 25th of September, 6 p.m. You can get your tickets at itickets.co.za. But download. If you want this to be your anthem moving into a new season, or at least for the next 8 weeks of the Rugby World Cup, download it now. Can we get another round of applause for these beauties? Yeah, man. Woo-hoo.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. You are just in time as we continue the conversation with author Devin Munsami about the 8-step guide to modern mental health. It is a book that is available right now. But Devin, just to give some context, who would you say this book is for, and why should they get their hands on it?
The book is for pretty much any South African wanting a practical approach to achieve positive mental health going forward. So anybody in the corporate space, somebody within family sector, students, and people who are ready to engage and talk about good mental health practices.
Oh, I love that. And I think it's so fitting, especially in the time we're in right now, leading towards Christmas, leading towards the end of year goals that we still want to achieve. I really think that this is a guide that can assist so many South Africans in getting that goal and ticking the box like no other. So it's an exclusive, and officially right now, Mzansi, we're going to get the chance to obviously get one of these books. An official live signed copy is going to be given away. So as you can see, Devin is literally going to sign that right now. And while he does that, let me remind you that this is your opportunity to win big. And if you've been inspired by Devin's 8-step guide to modern health, then you're in luck. You can stand the chance to win a signed copy. And all you need to do is answer the following question. Why do you want to learn more about how to improve your mental health? Simple as that. Comment with your answer on Expresso's Facebook page using the hashtag Modern Mental Health. And don't forget the competition ends on midday on Sunday, the 17th of September 2023. Your terms and conditions can obviously be found at expressoshow.com. So what are you waiting for? The year is almost over, like 111 days till the end of New Year, 105 days to Christmas, but you've got so much time left to go through these 8 steps that are going to guide you through a beautiful life, a beautiful mental space that can allow you to achieve your goals. Thank you so much, my friend, and I hope that this winner is going to just dive into this and do so much more, because I'm definitely going to do that. I'm liking, subscribing, and getting this book. You should too.
We are loving today's show. I'm feeling amazing, which I hope translates to how you are feeling, because we've been surrounded by the most amazing people and resources. And of course, we love connecting to you from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. every day. But on our socials, you get to engage with us 24/7. And that's thanks to our unbelievably good social media team. They are like 100 people working at once, and there's only like 2 or 3 of them at any given moment. They're amazing. And last week, of course, we saw the passing of an icon, DJ Casper, the creator of a song guaranteed always to get the party started, the Cha-Cha Slide. Heartbreaking for some. Our crew went about celebrating his legacy, if you will, in the best way that we know how, by putting on our dancing shoes and busting a little move. Check this out.
One hop this time. Right foot, let's stomp. Left foot, let's stomp. Cha-cha now, y'all. Now it's time to get funky. To the right now. To the left. Take it back now, y'all. One hop this time. One hop this time. Right foot, 2 stumps. Left foot, 2 stumps. Slide to the left. Slide to the right. Crisscross. Crisscross. Cha-cha real smooth. Let's go to work. To the left. Take it back now, y'all. 2 hops this time. 2 hops this time. Right foot, 2 stumps. Left foot, 2 stumps. Hands on your knees, hands on your knees. Get funky with it. Oh, yeah.
I love it. Okay, so you love the vibe, love the song so much. In fact, 122,000 views later. So we're going to say, can we get a round of applause to our crew? And Lucius, the commander-in-chief. But we had some great reactions, so we thought, let's connect with you guys to find out what y'all had to say. Chantal, Nandal say, lekker memories flooding me. The lady in purple is a vibe. I think that was Summer. Is that Summer? Yeah. I've already commented on the facial expressions. She embodies me. And Elise Rousseau saying, a great job, you guys. Love the energy. Take me back to the good old days. I would imagine there were a lot of wedding DJs like, whoa, yeah. Pumla's Food saying, I'm loving how Expresso always captures every social occurrences around the globe. Thank you so much for that validation. Pumla's Food. Ivy Peterson, my 5-year-old's favorite, and he does the cha-cha so well. I want to see a video. I want proof, please. And we're going to squeeze in any more. And then Prunella saying, I love it. Here I go. Now legs don't get out of step. Clapping may be easier. Yeah, I'm one of those. I don't think I've ever done it properly. Anna Corolla saying, Julle, die een in die swart met grys trui aan voor. Keppie oppie, kop is myne. Nee. Okay, I don't know if we're allowed to do that. I don't know if we can steal that, but we'll try. Shotgun. That's a shotgun called. We loved it. So, I mean, you must know the vibe. Have you ever dropped this in a set, bro?
If I get requested it, like more than at least 4 people have to request it independently for me to play it.
Okay.
Yeah, we do it.
And you mark it up, because you kind of have to, man. It's the marking of an era. So I know you were kind of hoping that PJ was going to carry all the dancing prowess for you today, because she's your front and center.
She's definitely carrying it.
She does. She does it. So we thought we'd put this out, and maybe Ryle and I can join you for this.
You did very well.
Yeah, no, Ryle's the guy. He's the dancing choreographer, so I think we're going to have to give it a little bit of a go, okay?
Okay.
You up for it, Peach?
Yeah, yeah. I can do this.
Kosh, can you
ready,
bro?
Just don't make me leave.
Let go.
We're going to do it.
So we do this. Are we cha-cha sliding, yeah?
We're going to cha-cha slide.
Stand out there.
Oh, but no, we're all the main events. So
Yeah, but I don't know how to do it, so I need
Okay, so are we getting music for this?
I hope so.
It's all the music, DJ.
Instructions are clear.
Here we go.
Right foot, let's
Stop. Left foot next.
Louder, please.
Cha-cha now, y'all.
Now we just go easy. Now we just...
time to get funky.
Okay, you guys ready?
Okay, now
To the
funky,
right
yeah?
now.
Now to the left
To the
next.
left.
Okay.
Take it back now, y'all. One hop
Let's
this
hop
time.
now. Oh,
One hop
another
this
hop.
time. Right foot, 2 stumps.
Right foot. Left foot, 2 coming up.
Slide to the left.
Slide.
Come on, man.
Slide. There we go.
Crisscross. Cha-cha, real smooth.
I like to bring the shoulders into this one.
Absolutely love it. Not bad at all.
Come and do your rooster
Exactly. We're gonna pump it up and make sure that you do the same. Please, we want to see your office, we want to see your school, we want to see your kindergarten, we want to see everyone. Don't laugh at her, man. That was a valiant effort. But we want to see your yes. There's an opportunity to get up and move and dance, and we are here for that. So we're going to play out with a bit more cha-cha slide. We'll see you to slide into the final performance of the show after this.
Okay, let's do it again. 2 hops this time. 2 hops this time. Slide to the left.
Right foot, let's stop. Left foot, let's stop. Cha-cha now, y'all.
Oh, yeah, we go. It's an actual cha-cha.
To the left. Take it back now, y'all.
I think
One
it's 2.
hop this
One.
time.
Another one.
One hop this time.
Yeah.
Right foot, 2 stumps. Left foot, 2 stumps. Slide to the left.
That way.
Slide to the right.
Listen, you guys were born to work together.
Cha-cha, real smooth.
It's a slide in action on the other side of this.
Let's go.
Crouch, touch, but don't you dare pause. Because when you buy any of our favorite Clover products, keep the till slip handy and catch the Expresso Breakfast Show every weekday morning for more details on how to enter. While the Boks are battling for rugby's greatest prize, you can win your share of 80,000 rands worth of Weber Prize. So engage and win with rugby's greatest moments, brought to you with love by Clover.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
We've been blessed to have South African music legend PJ Powers on your Feel Good Breakfast show, and we got one more performance on its way. But before we get into that, PJ, you've got a very special concert taking place on the 25th of September. Tell me about this concert and how can people get tickets?
The Moratella Park, it's 7,000-seater auditorium. So it's going to be a fantastic show. What it is we've got audio visuals. It's an 8 million rand production with huge big, we're recreating the opening ceremony with the jet going over at the opening ceremony of the rugby. It's a very rugby-centric song. A show. It's a show that I've written called When Time Stood Still. And it's basically what it is about is it takes us from 76 to how the country changed prior to 95, and then how sport, rugby particularly in this instance, has brought us together every 4 years, continues to do this. We've got Springboks from the 95 World Cup who are going to be in the audience. We're going to be kicking balls around. It's going to be a really, really great show with music from all over South Africa and your favorite rugby songs.
Oh, that's going to be exciting because, we are in the heart now. The Rugby World Cup has officially kicked off this past weekend.
It has indeed.
And it's going to be a lot of excitement leading up to that final at the end of next month. Now, you're about to perform a song for us, but there's a special story behind it. You've had your own Taylor Swift moment, if we can call it that.
Yes. I like calling it that because I have huge respect for Taylor Swift. I was a young girl. I was, when I signed all my music away to somebody, all my artistic, and it would have been okay if the money had filtered through to me, but it hasn't. So, and also, I've gotten to an age where, for a long time now, I've wanted to own my own, my own songs. I've wanted to own the songs that I've written. I've wanted to own what the album is called, which is now available on all major platforms. It's called Rightfully Mine. And this is a track which I wrote in the early 90s. And I think it's a great way to end off the show with a prayer, basically, for our country for the next 5 weeks. A prayer for our gorgeous boys in green. And just a prayer for peace and for unity and to pause and reboot.
Well, listen, PJ, you are here. Perfect for our Monday, a bit of Monday motivation on your Feel Good Breakfast show. Here's PJ Powers with Prayer for Peace.
Okay. No matter where you are, you're going to be watching a screen if you're here with me today. So let's get together. And let's think about what we can do to make our country come through quite a dark period. Thank you. Say a prayer for this land we love. Let there be peace and harmony. No more suffering and no more pain. Oh, Jehovah one. So let us think of the children. Give them a future filled with pride. Join your hands and hearts and together pray. Oh, Jehovah one. Yes! There is no greater strength than unity. We need to be one brave family. And there's no reason for this fighting, 'cause we're all the same. Oh, Jehovah.
Feel Good production.
Quite early in the morning for a big song like that.
And now, feeling, please. Thank you so much. Wow. Wow.
Delectable dishes from all corners of our rainbow nation.
Thank you,
Feel
man.
the rhythm and beats that can make us smile with the stories of everyday South Africa
Aliens
to
in.
inspire us all. And of
That's
course,
hilarious.
the energy you need to start your day right.
So let's celebrate our heritage. Let's celebrate the green and gold, if they'll let us wear the green and gold jerseys here on Expresso.
Tune in from 6 to 9 every weekday morning exclusively on S3.
So yeah, so unfortunately, because certain people obviously can't pick up certain colours of green, which is why we had to wear that jersey
Really?
yesterday, which is obviously
I
quite a
didn't know
thing,
that. I
yeah.
thought it was because Checkers and F&B was the sponsor.
I know, well, maybe. The colourblind people.
I wish they explained that better to us.
Well, they did. They put an essential thing out there, and people were like, what the? Yeah. I mean, it's a great jersey, but it just doesn't look like
Not
ours.
for the first game.
Yeah, it looks like Ireland's jersey, Sevens jersey. Eh?
Looks like Checkers and F&B.
It's the F&B Sevens jersey. You starting, eh?
Yeah. Get ready, South Africa. It's Heritage Month and we are celebrating in style.
So join us on Expresso as we serve up delectable dishes from all corners of our beautiful rainbow nation.
Feel the rhythm and beats that make us smile.
With the stories of everyday South Africans who inspire us all.
And of course, the energy you need to start your day.
So let's celebrate our heritage. Let's celebrate.
Sorry, auto cue's running very fast.
You're just a little bit ahead of the line of the screen. Sorry. There we go. There's a reason. So it's just because there's a bit of a tilt on the auto cue, so we're missing the first two lines. Thanks. Thanks, Shawnee. I think we're giving it more gees because it's a geesy script. Thank you.
Get ready, South Africa. It's Heritage Month and we are celebrating in style.
So join us on Expresso as we serve up delectable dishes from all corners of our beautiful Rainbow Nation.
Feel the rhythm and beats that make us smile.
With the stories of everyday South Africans who inspire us all.
And of course, the energy you need to start your day right.
So let's celebrate our heritage. Let's celebrate the green and gold only on Expresso. Tune in from 6 to 9 a.m. weekday mornings exclusively on S3. Mm-hmm. I can show you the world.
Get ready, South Africa. It's Heritage Month and we are celebrating in style.
So join us on Expresso as we serve up delectable dishes from all corners of our beautiful Rainbow Nation.
Feel the rhythm and beats that make us smile.
With the stories of everyday South Africans who inspire us all.
And of course, the energy you need to start your day right.
So let's celebrate our heritage. Let's celebrate the green and gold only on Expresso. Tune in from 6 to 9 a.m. every weekday morning exclusively on S3.
Radio program.
Go.
It's Heritage Month and Expresso is about to bring the celebration to life.
Tune in to your favorite feel-good breakfast show as we tantalize your taste buds with mouth-watering dishes from every corner of our Rainbow Nation.
Feel the heartbeat of our nation with the rhythms that will make you smile and be inspired by the stories of everyday South Africans who light up our lives.
Plus, we're serving up the energy you need to kickstart your day. This September, we're all about our heritage and, of course, the green and gold.
Catch us every weekday morning from 6 to 9 a.m. on S3. It's Expresso, celebrating our heritage with you.
I think that's more than 30 seconds.
I'm going to stand closer.
Yeah. Good idea. She moved first.
Okay, stand by, we're ready.
Nice and pacey, eh?
Okay, quiet please, you ready? 3, 2.
It's Heritage Month and Expresso is about to bring the celebration to life.
Tune into your favorite feel-good breakfast show as we tantalize your taste buds with mouth-watering dishes. Try again. You wanted this in English, hey, I'm assuming. Okay.
It's Heritage Month and Expresso is about to bring the celebration to life.
Tune into your favorite feel-good breakfast show as we tantalize your taste buds with mouth-watering dishes from every corner of our Rainbow Nation.
Feel the heartbeat of our nation with the rhythms that will make you smile and be inspired by the stories of everyday South Africans who light up our lives.
Plus, we're serving up the energy you need to kickstart your day. This September, we're all about our heritage and, of course, the green and gold.
Catch us every weekday morning from 6 to 9 a.m. on S3. It's Expresso, celebrating our heritage with you.
Nice.
Okay, 33 seconds.
How about take words out?
Yeah.
3, 2.
It's Heritage Month and Expresso is about to bring the celebration to life.
Tune into your favorite feel-good breakfast show as we tantalize your taste buds with mouth-watering dishes from every corner of our Rainbow Nation.
Feel the heartbeat of our nation with the rhythms that will make you smile and be inspired by the stories of everyday South Africans who light up our lives.
Plus, we're serving up the energy you need to kickstart your day. This September, we're all about our heritage and, of course, the green and gold.
Catch us every weekday morning from 6 to 9 a.m. on S3. It's Expresso, celebrating our heritage with you.
Cool. Generally 3 words a second.
Well, not if you've got tantalizing taste buds and favorite feel-good breakfast show. We do not need those many adjectives.
Yeah, the superlatives can... Cool.
It's Heritage Month and Expresso is about to bring the celebration to life.
Tune into your favorite feel-good breakfast show as we tantalize your taste buds with mouth-watering dishes from every corner of our Rainbow Nation.
Feel the heartbeat of our nation with the rhythms that will make you smile and be inspired by the stories of everyday South Africans who light up our lives.
This September, we're all about our heritage and, of course, the green and gold.
Catch us every weekday morning from 6 to 9 a.m. on S3. It's Expresso, celebrating our heritage with you.
Perfect. Good job. Well done today. Thank you, everybody. Graham is my name. Nice to have you here, buddy. I'm gonna have magic carpet ride in my head now since you brought this in, bro. Bason, I can. Bason Lars. I've never met him before. 2 years in the game. And he comes with magic carpet.
Okay, stand by.
I think we've been live this whole time. YouTube. Welcome back. If you stepped away, but you've probably been seeing us live on YouTube, and now we're live on Facebook, and we had to squeeze every last second of enjoyment and time that we could out of PJ Powers because she's here, and she's here for us, and you're always so generous with your time, and I love the fact that you will just play along and do whatever we need, whether it's a cha-cha slide or a bunny chow. But lest we forget, you are still one of the busiest performers in the country right now. There is a vibe. There is something happening at the moment locally with live music, with live events. We want to embrace them more than ever. There's a feeling. All of these come together in some amazing shows with you because you get it. You get the algorithm. And I think you are at your happiest. And I say this obviously from my limited perspective of your life, but when you're on a stage, it just feels like it all comes together. Is that still the thing for you?
It's actually, strange enough, it's the place where I feel the happiest and probably the place where I feel the most private.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because nobody can get to me while I'm on this place.
Except me when Serena and Venus Williams are playing.
Well, you can get
5 minutes.
anywhere.
And I say that because I once had to actually step in halfway through a performance of the World in Union, and this was quite close to that time when it mattered so much more. It's crazy, but you're out there and you're performing. You've got a couple of big ones coming up on the 25th. This sounds amazing. So break it down for me. What can people get out of that concert?
The 25th is an amazing concert. I've never done anything like this before.
Oh, really?
At this volume and this. It's an 8 million rand production.
Whoa,
so it's huge. It's at Moraletta Park, and tickets are available now. You know, and get them because we have sold a lot of tickets, but we are filling up the 7,000. Yeah. It's a show that I've written called When Time Stood Still. Because I remember that moment when we won the World Cup rugby and getting out onto the road to fly to have to drive to Gallagher Estate and that absolute quietness, and that was when time stood still. So we're going to have the jet coming in. We've got the whole 9 yards. We've got audio visuals. We've got the Soweto Gospel Choir. We've got it's a big production.
Oh, hopefully to echo the Springboks winning the World Cup.
Yeah, they're going to be there. The 95 and other, Springboks
all of the legends.
All the legends.
And that's the beautiful thing is I've had a front row seat to watch this story evolve. I was a part of it in 95. I was a kid that ran out onto those streets to the World in Union and lost my mind. I can remember the moment when time stood still. But you got one more performance for us today. What are you going to do?
I think I'd like to do the remix, the re-release of from my Rightfully Mine album called Shadowland.
I love it. We are here for that. In fact, we are here for anything you do any time of the day. You're amazing, girl. Thank you so much for being here and being that energy. It's time to get up and moving one more time before we send you off to work, or maybe you must work from home today. It's PJ Powers with Shadowland. Take it away.
Everybody needs a little love and understanding, and I feel that we can shine a light into the shadowland of ours if we try, oh, if we try a little understanding here today. Oh, if we try, oh, if we try, I know that we will find a better way. There's something special in the land that we share, but we all have to care. There's something special in the land that we share, but we all have to care for our shadowland. Ooh.
when I am traveling, I think about coming back to South Africa, coming back to our shadowland, our people. Let's take it away. Let's make it our great land once again. Woo! There's something special in the land that we share, but we all have to care. There's something special in the land that we share, but we all have to care. Shadowland, oh Shadowland. Shadowland. Woo! Yeah, Shadowland. Oh, Shadowland.
We can go back there. We can. Good luck for
Thank
the
you,
rest
my
of this
darling.
crazy year, this
Thank
season.
you.
I know she's
Thank
got
you
a
very
small
much.
matter of $8 million to make up, so go and buy tickets for what sounds like a moment in time where, once again, time will stand still. There are going to be some
Borroletta Park in Pretoria.
25th, iTickets is where you can find your tickets. As I understand it, go and get it. They are going very fast, and there's a limited amount of space there. If you want to feel the hiss of what it is, we talk about 95 in such a special way. You can tap into that right now and every day, but you've got to do it. So I'm going to say to you, Peach, don't hold back. For the rest of this year, don't hold back.
I won't. And let's see if you can fly up for the 25th.
I love it. I'm there for that. I promise you, that time I won't walk in the middle of World in Union. But also go and give the latest remix of World in Union, courtesy of DJ Kosher, and the superstar stood beside me. Download it. Let that be your summer anthem, at least for the next 8 weeks of this Rugby World Cup. PJ Powers, we love you, girl. Thank you so much.